This episode of the Giant Bombcast is brought to you in part by Lisa. They're the mattress people. They've done away with that weird mattress experience of going and talking to human beings about mattresses. No one wants to do that. Your mattress is yours. It's private time, right? They'll send you a Lisa mattress compressed in the box the size of a mini fridge right to your doorstep for free. You order that mattress on the internet. It's a 10-inch mattress that comes in all sizes, crafted with 3 unique foam layers, all this memory foam, Avena, and a 3rd layer. It's made in the USA, and again, it ships for free. They'll give you 100 nights to try that mattress out risk-free. You head over to leesa.com/bombcast and enter the promo code BOMBCAST at checkout, and you will get $75 off that mattress. That's a deal. That's leesa.com/bombcast, promo code BOMBCAST. Hello, it's Tuesday, September the 13th, 2016. You are listening to the Giant Bombcast. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I am listening to the Giant Bombcast.
On September the 13th.
Yes.
Tuesday the 13th.
That's
you know what
right.
they say about
Tuesday the 13th?
Yeah.
They say that the Giant Bomb membership sale is on.
And it's spooky.
It's entering its final week.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A terrifying sale that you can get at giantbomb.com/upgrade.
It is a terrifyingly limited time.
That's right.
Spooky savings.
Act
yes.
now.
Okay. All right.
Special savings for first-time subscribers.
Okay.
We're not quite in the Halloween window yet, but
I don't know.
We're
That's
getting there.
Yeah.
I'm always
no,
there.
there's fucking candy showing up. At
Seriously,
stores.
Yeah, if you go into a Target or something right now, you'll see it.
Pumpkin-shaped
Oh, yeah?
Reese's
Oh,
peanut
yeah.
butter cups at the gas station.
okay.
It's the season, yeah. Like the Halloween decorations are out. Like I actually took my son, I threw him in a pouch in my front
Yeah.
and put on a backpack. We went down to the dollar store and we just went nuts.
Oh, yeah?
On Halloween decorations.
What's his
It's like,
birthday?
his birthday?
When was he born after?
October 22nd.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He's a Halloween baby.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Totally.
Spooky baby.
Yeah, he is totally. But yeah, no, like all the retail stores have the Halloween stuff. It's pretty rad. Like this is our season, man. Like
Yeah.
I was married on October 27th.
Okay.
as well. So yeah,
You're way into Sam Hain.
sure, yeah,
What you're saying?
yeah,
All Hallows Eve.
that too.
Cool. Full room is assembled here. Although,
We got all our dudes.
Dan,
What?
I don't know.
Sick again.
I'm not.
He was sick before PAX with the thing that I mysteriously got sick with
Yeah.
just after
That
PAX.
couldn't have been
Yeah.
a contagious thing.
We
What
tried.
the fuck are you talking about?
It was
Do you
just a
understand how the human fucking body works?
No,
No,
clearly
I think
not.
we covered this last week.
Last week you're like,
at some
oh,
point.
viral. That means it's not contagious. Dumbass. Jesus. Today's the first day in a week that I felt okay.
I feel bad today.
Yeah, thanks
I
for
woke up
being here in
great.
this enclosed room
I
with
feel
us.
sweaty and my ears hurt.
We
and
tried to.
My throat hurts.
We tried to put you in a quarantine chair over there.
Yeah.
I came in here and I said, "Can we put Dan over there?" And Drew was like, "Why?" And I was like, "He's sick." Drew was like, "Why the hell is he here?"
It
then?"
just started. I think I'm not contagious during the starting
my
part.
That's
God.
not. That's also
No,
not how it
God
works.
damn it, you
That means you've been
asshole.
contagious for about a day, probably.
I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
I've got international travel in 4 days. If I get sick, it is coming out of your ass.
Yeah,
You can blame Ben Hansen from
Oh
Game
my
Informer. He was just in
God.
town.
don't blame poor Ben.
He got sick before I did.
He's bringing that Minnesota shit out here.
Yeah.
No, that's the
That
worst.
shit breaks legs. It's scary.
yeah.
Man.
Oh, Drew, how's it going down there?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay as far away as
Yeah,
possible
we tried
from.
we tried to make him equidistant from everybody in the room.
Yes.
Wash hands. Everyone
uh,
wash their
seriously,
hands.
yes. I think Jason's bearing the brunt.
Oh,
What are you
Don't
doing?
touch me, you son of a bitch! God, get
Dipshit.
your infected viral. Oh,
Oh my
I
god,
feel fine.
you're a gross,
Good.
inconsiderate human being.
Oh.
good stuff.
I love you.
You're great.
Just stay over there.
Yes, stay in your hole.
Brink.
Whoa,
Yeah.
what?
Oh.
What's happening?
What is?
Notification time.
Hey, all right, everybody. That means
iOS 10 done?
Who signed into some?
Not me.
Was that Discord?
No,
Was
that's
that
Google.
Google Chat?
Someone is signed into Google
Nice
on
on
this
that laptop.
laptop. I'm going to go ahead and sign
No,
them out.
tell us who it is.
No.
Get in there and
I
see
think we
who's.
can legally read it. now.
Yeah, it's
No.
if they leave
it's
it logged
the
in.
communal
yeah.
studio laptop. Do you know who it is?
Yes.
Out them.
And
Out them.
And
Beecham,
they're
isn't it?
now signed out.
Beecham always
Is it
leaves his
Daniel
stuff signed in the studio upstairs,
I would believe that.
right?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we won't.
So
out it.
that's the thing is now they're tearing down the 6th floor of this building, which is where we used to record our podcast.
Yeah.
Tearing it down, like taking it
rebuilding
off
it.
the building.
Yeah, they're just
remodeling.
shaving off the
They're
top
renovating
floor.
renovating the whole floor.
Oh, so they're gonna rent it out to
Yeah,
people or something. Okay.
No, because those people have moved to a different floor. They'll move back,
Oh,
but it
okay.
means that the people that used to record on that floor don't have a place to record anymore. So we're letting them use this space temporarily.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
so,
been interesting.
Yeah.
Was that like the iPhone?
seeing
podcast thing? Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
clips and stuff of
Yeah,
other people doing other stuff in this room has
Yeah.
been kind of weird.
Yeah, but that's been
It's been a I don't know, stressful time for Drew and I think. Just having other people that were not completely,
in the loop on how this place was built and why.
Yeah.
I had a
Unplugging
nightmare
everything.
the other night that the table was moved, and I was so pissed off. I'm just like very defensive.
We used
and
their studio for a
protective.
decade. We
I
owe it
know,
to them.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
still, guys.
Tricky logistical challenges.
Yeah.
but it'll be fine.
Yeah.
True.
They'll get their studio back.
They will. Yeah.
It's an action-packed week.
I
like
guess
a ton of things have happened.
Yeah. Yes. If you
in the last
over the last 7 days.
7 days.
It's been some stuff for sure.
Yeah.
So
So I guess why don't we just get into it
okay.
and talk about stuff?
Yeah.
Should we start with ReCore?
I guess. Yeah. I mean,
Guess
if-
that's the game that's out
really
today.
yeah.
interested
If we
in
want to, if
ReCore.
we want to talk about things that happened in the order we always talk about them,
Yeah.
then video games people have played is the first.
Right.
On this checklist, I
Just
have
trying to think about any other games that might be on the docket besides
upon
that
which there will not be any deviation.
one. Well, I'm just trying. That's kind of the game. Well, I mean, Pac-Man's out, so there's some stuff.
Yeah, there is some stuff.
let's
So
talk.
ReCore, I have played about 4 or 5 hours of ReCore, and I've really liked it so far.
I felt the exact same way at about the 5 hour
and so
mark.
when all the reviews hit and they were like, "Man, fuck this game," I was
Yeah.
like, "No." But
that
then I
was-
started digging into why, and then watching your stream yesterday and seeing the
Yeah.
stuff that you were encountering, I was like, "Oh, right,
Yeah.
yeah, this game has very serious issues."
It got way worse after that stream.
Yeah.
My impression of ReCore pretty much went off a cliff after that stream ended.
many times.
And I moved, I moved into the end game, and whew.
Yeah, that sounds.
But man, that thing does so many cool things.
well, it's
It's a lot of cool ideas,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems
like the mechanically.
ReCore is like an HD remake of a game
Yeah.
that never existed.
Yeah.
It's a game that came out at the same time as Azuric and Nightcaster.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
And-
I mean,
and then
it does have some way more modern mechanics in there,
right,
And
so
RPG
this
and
is
crafting
this is like
type
their
stuff,
HD
but
remake
yeah.
where they're like, oh well, we're kind of retelling the story
Yeah.
of the first
Yes.
ReCore.
It does very much feel
Oh,
like
we
one
kept that old font. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
I don't want to call it like character action because these days that means like God of War and Devil May Cry type
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
But it feels like one of those character driven third person action games from
Right.
like 10, 12 years ago.
yeah, like Infogrames would have put
Yeah.
this game out.
Yeah,
or
totally.
THQ
like a
or,
dark
you know,
sector or something.
Kind of.
Prior to that.
Yeah,
Okay,
earlier than that. Earlier
Okay.
than that.
before the mechanics had been gotten down. Like Dark Sector
Like a
is very
Bullet
much a
Witch?
Gears of War. Yeah.
Okay.
No, like pre 360.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, like PS2
PS2.
era.
Okay.
Like this
Summoner.
Yeah.
Okay.
But cleaner mechanics than that. But yeah, this feels like those types of games.
Yeah.
Like Midway could have made this.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But so it's this thing comes out of it's like a union of Concept, which is the Inafune is like
right.
idea incubator
Idea house,
I guess.
Or it's like, what if there were personality cores from Portal, but instead you couldn't understand what they were saying?
But-
and you're like, I guess, dude. I don't know.
But they lived in robot animal bodies,
Yeah.
and that's kind of cool.
There's something really so like this game's been all over the place. Like the lead up to release, I think there's been a lot of confusion about what this game's going to be and all this other stuff. So it was nice to
The
finally
trailers
just get
have
it in
portrayed
here.
like different messages, I think, each
Well,
time.
also like they have some quote from some article they're using where it says like the spirit this could be the Mega Man reboot people have been waiting for. It's like fucking no, like not even
Yeah.
close. Like
Yeah.
there's 0% Mega Man in this thing.
I'd say some of the traversal stuff is a little Mega Man-ish.
Oh, I
Do you
don't
get powers when you kill things?
No.
Not exactly, no.
Okay. Are you a robot boy?
But
no.
no.
Okay.
But you've got
That's Mega Man.
the
You do have a robot dog.
Oh, well, okay, there you go. There you go.
But I would say the platforming
Road
is a lot kind of like a Mega Man in 3D. Like you start the game with a double jump and an air dash, and there's a ton of like that's a big part of the game is the
I mean,
air
lots of games have done
aerial
that. That is
mobility
true.
stuff.
Mega Man.
Yeah, you know, it's not
the
totally
mobility
dissimilar.
I feel like that's really thin.
really,
but
really
yeah.
cool. Like the air dashing.
It is,
Okay.
and
And
there's
the way
some,
and when they use it, I think they use it well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that
There's
stuff's
some
pretty
stuff
fun.
you haven't even seen yet in the like the last basically the big last tower or whatever. Like there's some super clever creative platforming design in there. And
in terms of platforms that phase in and out of existence and tilt and like things
Okay.
rolling around
All
and like
right.
tons of like there are those air gates that you will like if you hit one, it renews your double jump and air dash, and you can do them again.
Right.
And those will move around, and you can actually like go through the same one multiple times and just stay in the air. And like, there's some really cool ideas around that stuff. The all the robot stuff, the frames, I guess is what they're called, the animal bodies. Like, there's an insane amount of customization with that stuff.
Really?
Because
Like you're crafting loot
you're
parts
getting
to go on them to level up their stats. I think the thing that I found, at least in my time with the game, is that like you don't need them. Like the lethal attacks they can do, their attacks don't seem like that useful.
So it's weird. They don't make all this clear up front, but the way it actually ends up breaking down is that they're animal bodies, but then the cores are the cores are the things that have the names on them. There's Max, Seth, and Duncan.
Yeah.
And those actually just attach to the colored spheres.
Which makes it really confusing because you think of Duncan as the ape, but then you take the Duncan sphere and put it into the glider frame. But then when you change up your crew, it only shows the names.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you going to take Duncan and Seth? Like, I think so. Is Duncan in the...
I don't know.
Where's Duncan now?
Yeah, you spend 8 or 10 hours with Mac being the dog, and all of a sudden Mac is the little flying fish thing.
Does it still have a dog brain then, or does it act like a fish?
Yes, but they don't have enough of a personality for that to really come across.
That doesn't necessarily manifest. But
their stats come with them, though. The stats are attached to the cores, not the frames. But the frames you can get blueprints for that you can then craft gear and equip those, and those have like, set bonuses and stuff. Yeah.
What do your robot buddies do? They just help you in combat?
Fight.
Or?
They fight quite a bit, and they're actually super effective. Like Duncan in particular.
Really? Okay. So
ape.
I haven't. I mean, I just got the ape body.
Yeah,
and
he is a bruiser.
It hasn't been like I just haven't needed it. You know.
Yeah. Well, when you get them, they come with broken gear that have no stats on them. So like you need to craft a set for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does insane amounts of damage later on.
All right.
Yeah, they're really effective in combat, and they all have like one kind of traversal or navigation ability.
Okay.
Like the dog can dig stuff up.
Yeah.
The spider robot can like climb these magnetized kind of railway
Which
things.
when you
like
first
hit
do that for the
switches
first
or
time, it's
something,
cool.
or-
No, it's like you go with it. So you attach
Yeah,
the
he like
attach the
drags you.
spider,
He'll
and
drag
you
you
can
along.
ride these tracks. So there are
Rad.
big
Okay.
tracks that are kind of just carrying you from place to place.
It's kind of a glorified grappling hook,
flinging you
sort
into
of
the
thing.
fucking air,
But
and
it looks
stuff, and,
cool.
like, it's that stuff is neat. Like when I first got that, I was like, holy shit, this game's awesome.
Yeah, like every one of
and-
the ideas in this game individually is really well thought out.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of cool systems and different types of gameplay mashed up together. Like the combat's got a lot of variety to it with like, because you've got different damage types that they're colored, and you match those to the colors of the enemies to get bonus damage, and like you have special abilities on the buddies, and it's just it's all over the place. And you're like air dashing over. Well, there's a lot of like avoidance type stuff.
Right,
in
yeah.
combat.
You lock onto enemies, so it's like aiming is not a thing in
yeah.
this game.
Yeah,
it's really about you dodging.
purely-
So
I'm
it becomes-
okay with that.
Yeah,
It's purely about evasion and like managing your damage types and the abilities of your robots and stuff. Like it's super fun.
But that stuff never gets. It doesn't seem like that stuff ever gets difficult enough to be a real challenge.
So it's very up and down. There will
Okay.
individually
there are weird spikes.
individually
Like that spot
there
that you
will be-
streamed yesterday
yes.
when you first get to
Yes.
that desert, that's
Yeah.
the first time I ever died
Yeah,
also.
same.
Where it
And-
was just like, oh, and things here are way tougher. Like I had beat enemies that were way higher level
Yeah.
earlier, but like for whatever reason, the combination of enemies they throw at you right at that point in the game is like kind of fucked for where you are.
That balancing is very shoddy.
Yeah.
Like it's very poorly implemented. I'm at the point I'm at in the end game because they rate like floors of dungeons with like a level rating. It's
Yeah.
like you should be level 24 if you want to go in
I
here.
think you have to be.
No,
Right?
the
Oh, they
level
let you go. Okay.
No, there are other ways they gate your progress
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
not good. But the level thing is just a recommendation. But having done a ton of side content and all of the story stuff, I'm still like 3 levels lower than they want me to be in the area I'm in right now. Like it's nuts how poorly that's balanced.
What is side content like? Like I'm still like having trouble picturing.
There's a
loop of this
bunch
game.
of optional little side dungeons that
Is
are
this
all
like an open world kind of situation?
kind of
Think
not-
of it like Ocarina of Time,
Yeah,
where it's
yes,
not
sure.
an
Yes.
open world, it's an overworld.
Okay.
That's-
Where like
that's
you
more
know,
accurate.
there's not that much to do there. It's not like, hey, here's a bunch of shit for you to do as you're getting from place to place. It's
Right.
more like, especially in that big desert, like that's the first time where it's like, there's a fat desert here and some enemies will pop out of the sand, but really you're just traversing this desert.
Gotcha. Okay.
In other spots, there like you'll find like, oh, there's a treasure chest up here that I need to figure out how to ride the spider up here to get, and there are little things like that. But generally speaking, there's not that much to do in the overworld.
Although what there is to do, they make you go back and do when you hit the end of the game because they
Yeah,
they straight up pull like a Mario 64 like stars kind of system.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
it's not.
I love that system.
At first, I was
when
like,
it's balanced well, yeah, totally.
I was into it. Yeah, I'm with you. Like at first, I was like, oh, okay, so you're collecting these prismatic cores, and like some of them are hidden around in the world, like with like puzzly things. Some of them are held by like super hard enemies that you beat. Some of them are in the dungeons as objectives. Like they're all over the place. But you hit a point at the game, and it comes way too fast because it feels like they cut like the middle chunk of this game out. Like you get to the end game like 7-8 hours in, and then you hit a wall, and it's like you need X number of these cores to progress, and there is almost no chance unless you've done like every bit of side content you've seen, that you will have like close to the number you need to get through that last dungeon.
So it's a lot of backtracking.
So and every floor you move up in that last dungeon adds another 5 to that number, and you have to go. And there's not that much extra stuff to do out in the world, so you're just out there scouring, trying to find every last orb you can find.
It doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, and
they don't. The systems by which they like the map's not great.
Yeah, the map is really not great.
The systems by which they kind of expose that content in the world is basically non-existent. So it becomes you just like, well, I'm gonna run around these edges and try to find shit. Which has been early part of the game. I've been doing that for funsies.
Yeah, I was too.
Because I'm like, because so there's a bit of a decision you make when fighting enemies where. When they get low enough on energy, you can pull out a grappling hook and hook onto their core and yank it out of them.
Okay.
Which is like an insta-kill for them if you get it right. There's a bit of tug-of-war mini-game that I think is like relatively well done.
Okay.
And that core then feeds into points that you use to upgrade your cores. But if you kill them, you get parts. So you need both of those things to upgrade your robot buddies. So you need the parts like, I need ape legs to upgrade the ape and all this other shit. So you're kind of going back and forth on how you're killing those enemies. So I was actually having fun early on doing that and like crafting these blueprints and stuff like that.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, because like because as you kind of get a higher and higher combo going, eventually you'll see something that says like instant extract, and then that just you don't have to play the tug of war mini game. It just yanks it out of the guy. He blows up big.
You don't even have to whittle their health down.
Yeah, that'll take other enemies and stuff. It's like a neat. Reward. It's almost like the Batman kind of like, hey, you got a level 10 or like a 10 hit combo, so now you can kill a guy. It feels like that at times.
Okay,
and that stuff's neat. Yeah, man, there's a lot of neat shit.
Yeah,
but then I mean, you haven't even gotten into the part where technically it is fucked,
dude.
It is. Can I back up a second? The upgrade system with the parts and stuff, the blueprints.
Yeah.
Are these just like cosmetic upgrades?
No. They have
stats. Abilities.
They're both.
Just
so
stats.
It takes, like I said, it takes until you get late game where you can switch the cores between frames before this system is fully evident. But base stats are attached to the cores.
Right.
And then you put a core in a frame, and then you equip the parts on the frame to add more stats on top of those base stats.
So it's just numbers that were just...
No, it's cosmetic also.
It's also cosmetic.
That's kind of cool.
So there's, and a set bonus if you equip all 4 parts of the
if you
same
get all 4 of the same. Like if you equip like all 4 of the orange fugu set, like you'll get... And it's nice little bonuses. It's like, okay, you're going to find 25% better loot if you have this, or...
Cool.
This guy gets 100 extra defense, or like it's a bunch of cool set bonus RPG type stuff.
Any like new attacks or anything?
So those come when you swap cores. Like,
gotcha. Okay.
The Duncan core in the ape body has one special attack, but if you put the Mac core in the ape body, it'll get a different special attack.
Okay.
So there's tons of mix and match, like tons of customization, and
that sounds rad.
The cosmetics are cool because like the later game, the set, the crazier and more like flamboyant it looks, almost like in a World of Warcraft sense of like,
oh nice,
like the thing I just equipped on the spider robot completely changes the head to this like giant fucking monstrosity and like these big armored legs, and like it looks awesome, and it's like, man, I'm building out my robot squad.
I found a monstrous spider body like almost immediately, like the yellow set that I went from like, oh, this little friendly little spider to, oh god, this thing's a fucking mess. I don't want to look at this thing anymore.
And they hide those blueprints in all kinds, like some of them are in treasure chests around the world, some of them like you have
they're hunting
challenges on each robot body that you complete that unlock special like they're all over the place. Like it's again, like every system in the game is really cool individually.
This all sounds really, really awesome.
It's all put together, or it could have been put together in a really compelling way that would make for like a really excellent game.
Yeah, it's hearing you talk about it and kind of just like, what I've played of the game. Yeah, it sounds like that it's missing the back third of content. Yeah, so they just like threw in it's almost like a Wind Waker thing of like sail around and do this shit.
Yeah,
like,
it is
just like here's this weird grind.
Going out and getting those cores absolutely evokes the Wind Waker end game stuff.
It doesn't help the game in any way, and also then the technical glitches are. That game seems like it's a train wreck. I've not had a lot of trouble on the PC, but also like I played it on the Xbox One, and that is a bad version of that.
The Xbox One version has like load times bad enough that like blogs are out there writing headlines about it. It's like
it's like Midnight Club PSP style.
Load times of like 2 minutes.
Is there any difference on the S?
No, I haven't played on the S.
I played it on the regular console at home and then tried it on the S here. I couldn't tell a difference at all. The PC version is good.
Yeah, looks a lot better. It borders to 16:9 on a 1610 monitor, which I was like, but whatever.
It's fine. I mean, in terms of port stuff, it runs well.
Yes,
And
but
it's
you
the
still, but it seems like it has some of the same technical glitches.
This game is one of the roughest games I have seen from a major publisher in years. It is nuts. I could not sit here and list all the tiny, like, most of them are not.
You need to publish a video on Twitter.
I took a couple of videos
of like
off my TV.
Like what is it? Like, you know, so when you fall, it respawns you on the surface you fell off
the last checkpoint platform or whatever.
But he's got a video of him just falling and respawning in the air, falling through the ground.
It spawns you over terrain that isn't actually terrain you can land on, and you just keep dying in a loop over and over and over as long as you let it sit there until
always
you
the
quit
best
the game.
when that happens.
But
like that was like a weird one-off thing, or
no,
was it repeatable?
That I got that to repeat 3. Like I I exited the game, like loaded my save, went back into that little dungeon, and 3 times in a row on the PC that happened. And then I switched over to the Xbox and got it to happen there too.
So that was your checkpoint, right? That wasn't like you have manual saves as well.
There are no manual saves.
No, it's just checkpoint.
But if you quit and restart the game, it's a different checkpoint.
Gotcha.
Okay. But I exited that. This was one of the little side dungeons. I exited the dungeon, went back in, and went and died intentionally, and it happened again, like over and over.
Wow. So it's like saving right there.
It's a death checkpoint, not a. Okay, I thought it was you falling off of something.
It's one of those traversal side dungeons, you know, the real fast, like 3-minute ones that you are supposed to go through quickly. Like just dying in there was enough to trigger it.
And I've walked through walls and stuff like that, like in the environment. It's weird. So there's a lot of like canyon style stuff on the sides, and you can jump up a lot of that stuff in ways that feel like you're not supposed to be able to. But sometimes there's stuff up there, and you're like, all right, so. They did the Bionic Commando remake solution of let's put radiation everywhere. So if you get too high, a meter appears and it's like, you're going to fucking die.
And in like 3 seconds. Yeah, like, it's amazing how fast your health
takes down. It's not clear where that radiation is until you get there. So you're like, you're jumping up, you're going like, is this a secret way through? Oh no, I'm dying.
Is it visible at all?
No, it is
it's just a meter that shows
it is a completely unassuming looking cliff face with some footholds on it, and as you jump up it, all of a sudden
return to the battle.
It's one of those. And you die in like 3 seconds.
It's really crazy. It also it harkens back to original Bionic Commando for the NES, where you might get halfway through a dungeon and realize you don't have the items you need to proceed.
Yeah, right.
And then you have to quit and kind of start over.
Or like kind of load out to it.
Yeah.
What kind of items would you need?
So in Bionic Commando, it would be the transceivers, right?
Right.
But so in this, it is like, oh, you didn't bring the spider with you, so you can't do this traversal thing.
Yeah.
So I thought you could.
That happened to me on that
You can only
stream
take
yesterday.
2 at a time.
Really?
But there's no indication when you go in?
2.
The side dungeons, when you walk in there, if there's a required robot, it'll be listed on the requirements.
Oh, okay.
Along with how many cores you need to get in there and all that stuff, it'll show the icon of the robot.
But
you need
only
in
on
there.
the side dungeons.
The main ones don't.
But not out in the world when you.
Right. Yeah.
So you can spend 5 minutes like platforming your way up a thing and get to the top and realize you needed the ape to bash a thing and you don't have the ape with you and you have to go back to a fast travel point to swap them out.
Where can you change your loadout, like your cores?
You can warp. It's kind of generous. You can warp back to your little home base.
Okay.
Anytime you want.
Anywhere. Like literally pause and hit Y and you'll warp back. So that's nice. And then
that's the only place
back.
where you can change them out.
But then
you can change at any fast travel point actually.
But you would still have to walk back to
but
like
you
the entrance of
you
the
could fast travel
dungeon?
back to the closest point to where you were and then navigate back to it.
You'd have to do that, get
have
back
to do
that
the
point,
platforming
which
again.
sometimes is not that easy.
Yeah.
Like that's, I don't know.
I've had the fast travel break on me at least 6 or 8 times, and I have to quit the game out. Like it'll load the fast travel map, but with no cursor, so I can't pick which point I want to go to, and I just had to quit the game and restart it. Like again, over and over, like repeatable stuff. I was in the last dungeon, and I happened to pause and look at my mission objective, and it had changed my mission objective back to the first objective they give you in the entire game.
Bonus content,
like,
man. Yeah.
Was the arrow like
Game
pointing?
Plus?
The weirdest shit.
Yeah.
Was that actually what it was wanting you to do?
No. This was it was literally the description and the flavor text on the objective was like Jewel has woken up from cryo sleep and needs to go investigate this pylon that is powered down or whatever. And
But
it's like,
did it make that your actual objective? Like, is that where the arrow was pointing you?
just
like a
I'm
text
not.
issue.
There isn't
remember
really
what
an arrow per se.
Nothing
It's
like that?
more like you'll see something on the HUD like as you scroll around, but it's not.
I mean, I've had things as innocuous as like the list of audio logs that you pick up. Like that text will glitch out and display the wrong stuff as you open and close it. Like.
Boy,
any one of these things is like an easy to just dismiss, you know.
Sure.
But like when they happen, when it's just constantly. I've had like cores on the map that I picked up, like the icon appeared again, even though I'd already picked the thing up. Like it's.
Have you gone back to those areas?
I should. I actually
just
totally
see.
should go see if it respawned the core or
What
something.
the hell?
It's a shame. Like
it's such a cool. It's got such good ideas.
Yeah. But man,
it's
fuck.
it's the dodgiest thing in the world to like sit here and try to assume what happened in development because we have no idea. But like the appearance of it all is just like this wasn't ready.
Yeah, like
it
it
just
Could have begged
feels
for another. 6
wrap it up,
months
put it
or-
out, fuck it.
Yeah, it
Adam,
feels
who
like
knows?
if it had
Yeah.
just had another like 6 months or something,
Yeah.
like they could have ironed all these issues out. Like,
Yeah,
like
very-
the,
very
a
little
lot of that
marketing,
stuff is
too.
stuff that theoretically would get patched.
Yeah,
but like launching like this is
yeah, they put out a statement about the load times, like saying something like they're looking to improve where they can or something like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I don't know how
That-
much
that
of this
doesn't
stuff
seem
will
like
get
the-
addressed.
Yeah, the deal breaker in the game. right?
But again, like even if every bug was ironed out, it still feels like you just like slam into the end of the game like completely unexpectedly. I was
that's the stuff where you go like, man, like with more time, would this have been fleshed out with more
Yeah.
content or
Yeah.
something? Like
I-
that's maybe the weird part about it.
streaming it yesterday, like looking at every data point I had access to, like how many of the cores and frames I had,
Yeah,
how many prismatic cores I had, how much of the map I hadn't touched yet.
right.
I was like, I can't be more than 60% of the way through this game,
And then, bam.
and I was further. Well,
Yeah.
let's say. I mean, there's more. I didn't show the end of the game. There is more after that, but like
You're kind of
not that much.
you're
More.
wrapping it up.
Like
yeah.
I pretty much hit that part where they make you grind. Like it just like what felt like the first real profound meeting with the game's villain.
like you kind of hit the end of Act 1,
Yeah,
and it's
it
like,
felt
oh, by the way,
it felt like okay, this is where the story is
this
really,
is
and it's a
actually
cool
the
story.
end of Act 2.
Is it?
It's a really cool idea. Like all the stuff they do, and a lot of it is buried in audio logs and like text descriptions and stuff. But like the ideas behind the story are really interesting.
There are a lot of NPCs out in the world to talk to.
No,
Okay.
that's kind of part of the story.
That's the
Gotcha.
thing. Like there are no, and yeah, part of that.
I did see like a
the
little
story.
shopkeeper, like robot dude with a scarf.
Yeah,
He
that's
looked
the
adorable.
fast travel robot. I know, like
That guy's
the,
rad.
every robot in that game has got so much personality and charm to it. Like
Yeah.
all the design of that stuff and the way it's implemented is super likable.
Mm-hmm. I really want to like this game.
But it seems like, even if they get the technical end of it running at some point,
there's some design issues.
maybe $40 is a bit much. Even
Mm.
I don't know.
Is that the going price?
It's 40.
It's
Okay,
40.
it is 40.
So
And they announced that three months ago, 4
Yeah,
months,
something
something
like
like
that,
at
yeah.
least by E3, if not before. And I looked at that and I was like, well, they don't think it'll sell well because they,
Right.
if you remember like 360, they had stuff like Banjo Nuts and Bolts and the second
Right.
Viva Pinata. Those were $40 games and those were great.
Those are great. Yeah.
So I didn't take that as an indication of the quality as much as just like, oh, they don't think this is going to perform super well at
it's
60.
like you could look at it and go like, well, it's a new thing. You
Yeah.
know, it's not a sequel. They want people to take a chance on it. The Xbox One needs all the help it can get. So if
Yep.
they can afford to do this and say like, hey, the games are cheaper, get one of these consoles.
Yeah.
Or like there's a lot of reasons you could point to for something like that, but it seems like maybe the reason is this game is short and busted.
Yeah, man. But there's so many cool ideas in there.
Yeah.
And there's so much good about it that it just makes it that harder to swallow all,
Yeah,
the, all
there's
the problems.
a lot of stuff about that game I really like.
Yeah.
But man,
Like if it was well put together and didn't have all these issues, it would probably be like kind of bottom of my game of the year top 10 list type
Oh, wow.
material.
totally. Like there's I agree. Like there's enough good stuff about that
Yeah.
game that I really do enjoy.
Yeah.
That it could sneak its way onto that list, but
Yeah.
not.
not
as
finish,
it
get to the end and then
Yeah, right.
let me know how that stuff
Yes, not as built.
Goes
from
down.
from the sound of things.
That's a bummer. I can overlook a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Obviously, I like a lot of bad games.
Yeah, if
sometimes, but
if you have a super high tolerance for jank, maybe
okay.
check it out. But otherwise, maybe wait for a sale. Like
Yeah, I might
it's
do
worth
that.
seeing some of the cool stuff in there, but you really have to put up with a lot.
I figure like by the time they've got it patched up to where you probably want it to be, it will probably not be $40 anymore.
If it gets patched up that well.
I mean,
I hope it
the
does.
technical stuff has to get
I
corrected,
hope.
right? I mean, they can't.
Maybe. I don't know.
I can't.
no
like,
guarantee, yeah.
Microsoft is still Microsoft. They
Yeah,
can't. They're not
yeah.
in the business of cut and run.
You're right.
When
I
it
mean,
comes
yeah,
to games,
yeah,
like
they-
it would
they-
look real fucking rotten for them.
You definitely expect a baseline of like polish and like fit and finish from Microsoft games.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
it's
hopefully
their platform. Like they're trying to do this Xbox Play Anywhere stuff.
Yeah.
Like they can't
and again that
have
stuff.
the first big game that comes out with the big game. The
Yeah.
first game to come out with that stuff be like fucking hosed.
Yeah, that stuff was cool though. Like I was sitting there with my PC run into my TV, like just changing inputs on my receiver. I mean, you can't have both games running at the same time; it'll stop you from that. But like, I would shut one down, switch over to the Xbox. I would shut down the PC, switch over to the Xbox, and it would just bring my save right over.
Yeah, it's like
achievements.
it's like if you play a game on multiple Xbox Ones, how it'll just pull the save across as needed. It does that on the PC.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's like
very functional.
yeah. I mean, the UWP stuff still has a lot of issues around like streaming and overlays and
Right. Yeah.
VSync and stuff like that.
Well,
like,
so they got VSync in there now.
Okay.
You know, like it's got more PC-ish looking options in that thing.
Yeah.
It's getting there, but yeah.
actual.
Some made a point that like kind of until you can modify executables and do the things that like people actually want to do with a PC game.
It's
people,
still not.
Some segment of people are still going to be very suspect of things in the Windows Store.
It's still not close to Steam releases, but just playing it as a console style game with a controller, it worked quite well.
Yeah,
good. I do that pretty often. Yeah, I'll play stuff on my PC at my desk, and then like I gotta move to the TV. I gotta move to the couch.
I mean, this is an edge case where the Xbox version is just bad, like performance wise and load time wise. So you would want to play it on even like a decent PC over that. But like,
you said performance wise. What about like visuals? It's like textures and stuff.
Texture quality is lower.
Yeah, obviously that stuff's
some
lower,
of that stuff's
but
a little rough.
I wouldn't say visually it's out of line with what you'd expect on that platform. It's more the frame rate and loading stuff, but even with
loading stuff might even vary depending on what you got on your PC.
Totally. Like I'm running it off an SSD, so of course it's loading quickly.
It's not going to be a 2-minute load off an SSD,
but even with stuff like Forza Horizon 3 is coming out soon, and like no reason to assume that thing will be anything but totally fine on the Xbox, but like you still might want to play it on a PC instead.
I mean, just from what they showed at E3, like looking at that PC version, I mean, it probably depends on what PC you have.
Yeah.
But looking at that PC version running on their fucking whatever insane PCs they were showing that at E3, you're like, fucking damn, like I'd rather play this. But even the console version they were showing there, like that version looked pretty good too.
Sweet. There's a demo on it.
Yes.
I gotta check it out.
Did you try it?
Not yet.
I saw a lot of people posting like screenshots and stuff on Twitter. The thing looks good.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, bummer.
Just tread with caution on ReCore. We'll do a video, and I'm almost done playing through it.
Yeah.
I would have been finished if I didn't have to go back out and find more of those fucking orbs.
Dang.
So review forthcoming. Jeff?
Hey.
You've been playing some of that new Pac-Man.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Championship Edition.
Championship Edition 2. They've gotten away from, or they've leaned into the wrong parts of what I liked about Pac-Man Championship Edition from what I played so far.
Visuals, the score chase, the bonus.
It's got that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's when you finally get to eat a power pellet. They've kind of changed the way some of the map refresh works when there's a meter that determines like eat the dots, and then when the meter fills up, that's when the fruit will appear.
Yeah.
And it's only one fruit that does the whole map instead of doing one side then the other side. And they've got these jumps and stuff like that, little jump pads that take you to a different spot on the map. And depending on which maze you're playing, it might have those, it might not.
Okay.
When you eat a train of ghosts, well, for starters, they've broken Pac-Man. When you fucking run into a ghost in this game, you bounce off.
What?
Wait,
and
if you don't have a pellet?
Yeah, you bounce off 3 times, and then it'll make the ghost angry. And if the ghost is angry, he will chase you much more directly, as opposed to just being this one chain of all the ghosts and all the other tiny ghosts that you've picked up along the way.
They turn ghosts into wigglers?
Yeah, kind of. And, they've got to change the rules or whatever. But, so when you finally get that power pellet, and that's something that shows up instead of a fruit, like depending on which map you get to, it'll be like, oh, this one's a power pellet one. You're finally going to get to eat all the ghosts, which is, that's sort of how it was, but it's a little more explicit about it, and it feels a little more canned, and it feels a little more rigid. Now, when you actually eat the head of the ghost chain, instead of like it staying right there and you watching each one and watching it stop every time, and you're just like, fuck this ghost, fuck this ghost, fuck this ghost. Like the map goes away and it's almost like a cutscene of like you swirling and eating the snaky ghost chain. It still stops each way along the way.
Are you even controlling it?
You're not controlling it anymore.
Wait, so it's just like autopilot?
Yeah,
like
so as soon as you eat the first ghost, it warps out and goes and then pops back into the maze.
No, I want to control that.
It sucks. Like that stuff sucks, man. It doesn't feel good at all. They've got an adventure mode that I have not tried, and they've got in the default mode, and the unlocking process is kind of a hassle. Like you have to play a lot of like, it starts you off with like single train where there's only going to ever be one ghost in the maze and all these other guys behind it. So those guys don't kill you when you touch them because
you're growing.
And that's growing. So there'll be other tiny ghosts around the maze. When you get near them, that it's sort of like the previous game. They'll wake up. But instead of waking up and chasing you, they wake up and immediately get attached to the train.
Oh. They just get like sucked in like through the walls?
Yeah, so it really just becomes like, okay, well, I'm going to like follow, like the dots in the maze are on a very clear path, and if I'm paying attention, there's one route through this maze, and as long as the ghost train doesn't get in the way, I'm going to eat that entire path, eat the fruit, eat another entire path, eat the fruit, eat another entire path. Like, there's just not... it just feels very canned and very dull. I don't know. And also, as it gets... So I've only played it on the PC, and it's a weird beta branch on Steam that you know I think is the review version. It's definitely the version they sent out for review. It doesn't control well. Like, I'm blowing turns, and like I'm using a really good D-pad on this Xbox Elite controller, but like it's just not turning when I'm hitting turn. I've got a note out to them to try to get a hold of the console version of the game just to see if like there's something up with the PC version. Or
can you still like lead into turns where it shows the sparks?
Yeah, it still does sparks, but I've had cases where like it sparks, but then just dead ends and doesn't actually make the turn. And I'm holding the D-pad.
That's crazy.
And so it's.
I thought you were talking like your high level advanced Pac-Man strats. You were just like split second making turns and missing those.
Also,
like,
I'm blowing some of those too.
But just like
and it gets going pretty fast. So maybe I just want to see if it's every version of the game and try to determine if I'm blowing it or not. But like some of those cases where it's like I'm fucking holding this D-pad in this direction and it is not moving.
Wow. Have you tried other controllers, like a stock 360 controller?
No, not yet.
Just,
no.
Okay.
So I want to see it on another platform. And look at it there. So it just doesn't feel right at all. And I think. So the movement doesn't feel right, and the control doesn't feel right, but also I just think the rule changes they've made and the game that they've built is significantly less fun than the two games that came before it.
So it's not necessarily that it's like more of the same and it's lost its impact or anything.
Right. It's that they just leaned into the wrong stuff, and like there's a boss fight thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask because they showed in the trailer is like giant screen filling.
But that screen filling ghost is kind of like behind the maze, and it's just there as you're doing other stuff.
Okay.
And then as you're doing the stuff, you will get to attack the main ghost, but even that's like more cutscene like than an actual battle. And it just doesn't feel right. I don't think the music's as good. I don't think,
No,
like
don't say that.
The visual style of it, I don't think is as awesome. They've got some unlockable styles and stuff, so that'll change as you play more of it. But
Remember that menu music?
Yeah, it's great.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, and so I want to keep playing it because it's like there's got to be something wrong with me. There's no possible way that this game could be this bad. But it's like the more I play, the more I'm just like, fuck, man. I want to go back and play the other ones.
Yeah, I just downloaded those on backwards compatible versions of those.
And
as you've been saying, this is not great. I was like, maybe I'll just go play those old ones.
Yeah, those are still awesome games. And it's. I'll spend some more time with it. We'll eventually run a quick look when I get a hold of another version and kind of can wrap my head around some of the control stuff and figure out like where the issue is.
Yeah.
But my initial impressions are low. Like you got the code from them and sent it to me, and I dropped I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that came in during PAX. I was walking around and I just looked at my email like on the PAX floor and saw that code. And I was like, holy shit.
Like the day after PAX or the day I got back from PAX, I was like, holy shit, like install this, like play this goddamn it.
Right.
I played like 2 runs of it and I was like, I'm going to stop.
Yep.
And come back to this later. Maybe I'm just not in the right headspace for it.
Yeah.
And I kept coming back like 2 or 3 more times. And I was like, man, I think this game might be bad.
No. No.
Been a lot of that lately.
Yeah, I guess so.
Kind of a run here of games that have been somewhat underwhelming or disappointing. Like the first half of this year was so strong.
It's
just great game after great game, and then the last couple months.
Well, if it's not that, it's delays, right?
Yeah,
it's been a lot of that stuff too.
I guess so.
But yeah, those are the things that I've been playing that I can talk about. So yeah, more to come.
Embargoes.
Yeah,
it's keeping us down.
That's how it works.
Got some stuff to say in the future.
Damn it, man.
We will have more to say about more video games in the future. Yes, as it turns out.
That's how these things go. Okay, we need to take our first break. Got a lot more to talk about. We will be back in just a moment.
It's fall, and you know what that means.
The leaves are turning.
It's time to fall into your brand new website.
About leaves.
Yeah, if you want to
Many
start
types of leaves.
Yeah, if you want to start a website about leaves, or if you're selling T-shirts or party supply, anything you want to do on the internet.
I want to publish my leaf collection.
All right, if you want to publish your leaf collection, here's what you do.
I've been working on it all season.
You head over to Squarespace. You use Squarespace's beautiful templates.
Beautiful like a leaf, like an oak, like the noble oak leaf.
It's very noble.
Yes.
You build a website about your leaves with not that technical know-how. It's all drag and drop, very easy, no plugins, none of this other stuff. And you build your website about leaves. If you want to sign up for a year, they'll throw in a free domain. So if you want like leafparty.bit, like whatever sort of name you need for your leaf website. I'm sorry, that's a very flippant name. I know you're very serious about leaves. I didn't intend to imply that you're not serious about this leaf thing. And if you need help, they will answer your questions 24/7. They're available via email, live chat, that sort of thing. And you can build that website. You can even sell stuff on that website if you wanted to make a T-shirt with pictures of leaves on it or something like that.
Maybe I do.
Maybe you do.
Maybe I'm really into leaves.
They've got seamless commerce tools that you can bring into your site and incorporate in a way that makes that easy as well. You can start your free trial today at squarespace.com and enter offer code BOMBCAST to get 10% off your first purchase.
That's a cool offer. That's some upstanding people over there at Squarespace.
Yeah.
Like a tree.
Let's make like a website. And leaf.
Dan, how you feeling?
Pretty good.
You getting better?
Sure.
Is that diet
Every day.
what you got over there? Barks?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Treating you right.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a water chaser as well.
Put some,
Yep,
put some
yep.
spring back in your
That's
step.
got some
Yeah,
bite.
yeah. I'm doing fine.
Wait, does that have bite or no?
Water?
No, the diet.
Oh,
Barks.
no. Diet Barks does not have bite. It's
Gotcha.
just good.
What if water had bite?
It's bite free.
Ooh.
They make caffeinated water.
Really?
They do, yeah.
Huh.
Just Water Joe.
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
when it first came out.
I do recall the Water Joe.
I ate a caffeinated Cliff Bar this morning.
How is that?
Wow.
I couldn't actually taste any of the caffeine in it.
Did you
so-
feel it?
I don't
No,
know that
it's
caffeine has
I
a
don't
taste.
feel nothing, man.
Right.
Yeah. It just keeps me upright. This is like energy drink number 3 already.
Yikes.
Really? Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
It's intense, man.
Huh.
Dan, what's been on your plate?
I've been playing and watching the newest in the world of entertainment.
Yeah.
I've been playing Resident Evil 5,
Okay.
Oh, good.
Halo Combat Evolved.
Okay. Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah. The Dead Rising games, the first 2, and watching Cowboy Bebop and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Man.
Those are the things I did.
Where
this
is
weekend.
that? And is that the second one?
Blew Up the Kid is the second one.
Okay.
There's Shrunk the Kid, Blew Up the Kid,
Yes.
Shrunk Ourselves,
Yeah.
and then a TV show that did like 3 seasons.
What?
Yeah.
Was it really
What was
on
the
for
name
3
of the TV
seasons?
show?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, weird.
There's no Rick Moranis in that.
Was he in all
No.
3 movies though?
Yes. The third one was straight to DVD.
Oh,
or
wow.
VHS in like 97.
He was in that one, though?
I believe he was in Shrunk Ourselves. He was shrunk at some point.
don't
Yes.
And then he fled Hollywood screaming.
Yes, yes.
Not screaming. I mean, he
No.
went, I think his wife
Yeah, no,
died,
he actually
and-
I think he had some personal stuff.
Yeah, and he's just taking care of his kids. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
super
I think
cool.
he's back. I think didn't he
He put out a country album at one point.
Oh, good.
The agoraphobic cowboy.
didn't I see
Yeah.
he was like looking at getting back into acting?
I don't know.
I thought I saw something like that as well, but who knows?
Maybe,
rumors.
once the kids grow up or something.
Hush tones about the return of Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
It's gonna
All
happen.
of that aside,
One day he will
Yes.
come back.
all of that aside, you're
Yeah.
watching Cowboy
is Cowboy
Bebop?
Bebop any
Oh
good?
no!
You know what? I
was
watched 4 episodes of it. It's it seems all right.
That's a damn good show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
What brought this on?
Are there space cowboys, right?
No.
Yeah. In fact, I know what that Space Cowboy thing is about now because at the end
See
of
you,
several
Space
episodes
Cowboy, yeah.
it says "See you, Space Cowboy." Not
Right.
not all of them, but
They're
some
not
of them.
cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like an all right show. I expect it to be all Transformers and stuff.
I don't mean like roping and riding, but I mean
Right,
there's like
right.
a westerny kind of thing to their thing, or no?
Less so than like Firefly. I don't know if you saw much of that. That
I saw
definitely
enough
had-
of it to know that I never want to watch Firefly.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But it's less than that.
It's more like just like a Han Solo type thing. It feels like he's a bounty hunter and like there's spaceships in it, but it's not like a bunch of Transformers flying around.
So
or
more
anything.
like Space Cowboys with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
What brought this on? What precipitated?
Oh, my fiance's a fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She
and,
was just like, all right,
She's
like, hey, I wanna
expanding
show
your
this to
horizons.
you're going to sit down and watch this.
yeah, and I did.
Okay.
And it was fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'll watch more of it. She asked if I wanted to watch the rest of it or if she could watch it by herself. And I was like, no, you can save that for me. I'll watch it with you.
Oh, she hasn't seen it yet, or
No, she's seen it back in the day.
okay, all
but
right.
we're rewatching now. So yeah, that seems to be a fine television program.
So, are you a fan of anime?
God damn it!
I like
not bringing up
the
the word.
Acura when I was suggested to watch that, and I've liked the Cowboy Bebop. That's about all I've seen. I saw The Matrix. That was a good movie.
Like
The
what kind of
Animatrix?
what kind of Acura? Like a Legend or like the newer ones, like the TSX or whatever?
Yeah, it was the TSX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Akira.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just
No, it's good stuff. It's fine. Yeah. Anime seems like there's maybe some good stuff in
Oh,
there.
now you're a fan.
it's a
Anime.
genre with lots of different subgenres. Yeah,
It's cartoons.
Yeah.
It's animated. Turns out you can tell any story and animation you want.
Yep.
You could make The Simpsons,
It's not just giant robots,
or
and-
you could make the
and
cartoons fuck. Like it's like there's really the
that's-
world is your oyster when you start drawing stuff.
Yeah.
You can draw anything.
It's true.
Anything your mind can imagine, you can draw and animate and do stuff with.
I'm already thinking of the next things we should have you watch. Oh man, this is exciting. This is exciting.
You should watch those Go-Go
Open-minded.
13 stuff.
Yeah, that does sound really
Those-
good.
Those are
I'd like
those
to
are
watch
just,
that
I mean, there's the TV series, which is the series, which is interesting in its own way, but just the two like feature filmy length things are pretty good.
Okay.
I gotta see those.
I think I would like that.
Yeah, it's just like fucking sniper in the jungle, fucking shit up,
Okay.
getting his sex on, getting his snipe on.
In the jungle.
get the
yeah.
snipe on.
Is there an anime of Honey, I Blew Up the Kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, you could be the person to make that happen.
Okay, I can kickstart my
You
Honey, I
can
Blew Up
draw
the Kid
anything
anime.
you want. Just
Probably get in
start.
touch with Rick Moranis first.
That's
Okay,
where he's
all
doing
right.
it. Actually, is in Japan. Simulcast on Crunchyroll.
Mhm.
Ding.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Also, because you said the word Transformers, that movie's out on Blu-ray today.
The
Again,
cartoon one?
it's- it's been out on-
it's in other territories.
yeah.
They've never put out a U.S. release of,
Right.
of that Blu-ray.
And is it a
I'm-
4K? I want to say they did.
I saw they did a
were
4K
doing a
transfer.
transfer or something.
This is just
Yeah.
a standard Blu-ray. but
Okay.
I got to buy that thing.
I-
I'm excited.
I haven't seen that movie in years and
It's
years.
been a very
and
long
years and
time for me,
years.
too.
And
I'm not sure that it holds up.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious. Except for the dance sequence.
The what?
The dance sequence in the Transformers movie where they're partying. Are you serious?
Oh,
You don't remember?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god! All right,
I don't know what
whatever.
When I think about the Transformers movie at this point, it's really only the introductory scenes where everyone gets murdered.
Yeah,
like that's the
they
only
all
part I
die.
can remember about that movie.
I mean,
anymore.
yes, they just wanted to sell you new toys, but
Sure. They
They-
followed through with that. I want to say they wanted to do the same in like the G.I. Joe movie.
yes,
It was
they
like-
did. They did,
But
but
then
they
they-
softened
because
it
the Optimus Prime stuff
because
did so poorly.
it did not go over well
So they didn't actually die in G.I. Joe?
when a bunch of 6-year-olds saw their childhood hero die.
Okay.
They like brought him back. at
Like
the
they,
end
that
or
was yeah.
whatever.
They were
KO'd.
gonna kill Duke.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
but then instead, it's like he's at the end wearing a fucking headband
They had
or whatever. It's like I'm
well,
fine.
They had some really obvious bolted on voiceover, like the frame freezes and you hear this thing come in over the radio. It's like, hey, Duke just woke up. He's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
they just stitched it in?
That's amazing
Oh, wow.
in,
Okay.
in a really bad way.
But then they did their write off of old characters with that series where they went to the alternate universe. That was
Yeah.
their way to get rid of like Clutch and
Yeah.
Zap and
Yes.
Rock and Roll and all the fucking generic army dudes.
Yeah.
It's like have them go fight in the alternate universe forever where they get bitten by weird fucking mosquitoes that give them the fever and the
Sure.
Baroness is a good guy. And,
Sure.
Oh, it's so fucking good. God damn.
But then they did use the movie as an excuse to bring Don Johnson into the G.I. Joe world.
right. Yeah.
I don't know what that was
Actual
about.
Don Johnson?
Yes, actual Don
He does
Johnson.
the voice. Oh, I mean, he doesn't
is-
play Don Johnson.
Yeah, no.
Oh, so it is a
yeah,
character.
He is the
Yeah,
voice.
okay.
He is the voice of one of the main new characters in that movie. And
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
what they were thinking with that because it's not like he was going to come back for the episodes afterwards.
yeah, I don't know.
Did Sergeant Slaughter voice himself?
Yeah,
Yes, he did,
Sergeant
yeah.
Slaughter is
Okay.
in that movie.
Okay.
I
Cool.
think they had some others.
Maggot.
Like they were all about their celebrity voices in those movies.
Yeah, I guess so. Orson
Burgess
Welles.
Meredith.
Wells,
Yeah.
Burgess Meredith,
Eric Idle is in
Eric
the
Idle.
Transformers
Eric Idle
movie,
is in
yeah.
Transformers.
Nice.
Leonard Nimoy.
Right. Yeah.
Bunch of
G.I. Joe movie holds up.
It's not bad. I may have watched most of it on YouTube a couple years ago, and it was.
Does it? I don't know. Man.
does.
It's
all the
super-
does.
all
it's
the
kind
Cobra
of-
Commander wants a man stuff.
Yeah.
I think was like
that stuff
really,
is there's some real weird body horror-ish kind of creepy
yeah. But
stuff.
it seems like they just carried on too long with a lot of that stuff. I don't know. Cobra Commander in the fucking robot in the like the exosuit thing was not my favorite Cobra
Is
Commander.
that in the movie?
No, that's post movie. Like he gets turned into the snake.
Wait, do they bring him back?
And then the last Cobra Commander figure they put out is in this fucking big silver fucking body.
Is he a snake still?
The implication is that like he is still halfway.
They put the snake in a robot body.
that I think he's like still kind of half. He was once a man and is still suffering from that sort of stuff. So.
But he like fully transformed in that.
Yeah,
movie.
he is just a straight up snake by the end of that.
By
movie.
the end of it, yeah.
He's not in a snake like outfit or anything.
Like Roadblock was still trying to talk to him, and he just like slithered off.
Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, dude. The whole setup is that Cobra is actually descended from this ancient race of like reptilian beings that live in the Arctic.
All of the Cobra or just Cobra Commander?
Cobra Commander is the only one. That's their like finally their explanation for why he's always wearing that faceplate.
Okay.
Is because he's actually like a weird reptile man back there,
which was not in the comic books.
No, not at all.
In the comics,
he got his face fucked up like in Cobra La.
So yeah, they basically the land is called Cobra La.
Okay.
And
not like Shangri-La at all.
So is that like his genome army? Is like the Cobra
guys?
guys?
Well, no. So his overlords, he's actually just a pawn of like the true overlords of Cobra La.
Globulus.
And is a bigger
Nemesis
snake man.
Enforcer.
Yeah. So Globulus is directly related to Cobra Commander. Like he's like a great grandpa or
he's
something.
He's his boss, basically.
Oh, okay.
Or his king or whatever.
Do they share DNA?
Globulus is Burgess Meredith, by the way.
And then
I love Burgess Meredith.
Fantastic voice
acting.
Is
there a struggle in that movie where Serpentor is trying to hold on and they're like, fuck you, we're the real Cobra?
No, they treat Serpentor like the golden boy.
Yeah, because he's
there.
Okay.
Even though he's a colossal fuck up and like completely useless, they treat him like he's the best thing.
Is Burgess Meredith doing the Mickey Penguin voice the whole time?
He's super hamming it up as the bad guy in that thing. It's incredible. Awesome. And yeah, they try and convict Cobra Commander at one point, and his sentence is that they like shove his face into this plant that exposes him to the spores that turn him into a snake.
Mm-hmm. Why is that a punishment? It sounds like
because
he's
more
powerful then.
No, he just turns into like a mindless snake.
Like a tiny snake? Like a garter snake?
Throughout like half of that movie, he is like stumbling along, becoming more and more snake-like.
Oh, and he doesn't like it?
No, it's super creepy.
Not a fan.
It's like when Sergeant Stadenko smokes the weed and shares it with the iguana in that Cheech and Chong movie, and then by the end of the movie, he's turned into an iguana. It's exactly like that.
Oh,
you're
okay.
There you go.
I see.
You should watch that movie. It's pretty wild.
Okay.
I like it a lot.
Anyway.
Also, you should watch Stacy Keach turning into an iguana in that Cheech and Chong movie. I recommend it.
YouTube that.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Hey, Halo 1 was fun.
What have you been playing?
Halo 1.
Why were you playing Halo 1?
We just decided that we're going to play through all the Halo games, split screen.
Well, didn't it? It came with that S you bought, right?
We already
or
had
did you already had it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're doing the Master Chief Collection?
Yeah, we're doing Master Chief Collection, and that press the button to see the old graphics thing is really cool.
Yeah, and it works. The single player stuff is fine now, right?
Oh yeah,
I guess single player stuff was largely fine.
Yeah, I guess even to begin with, this is mostly
co-op and online stuff.
Yeah.
That was...
Yeah, you can't do more than 2-person split screen. Even in like I think 3 had 4-player split screen. But it's 2-player across the board. But that's all we're planning on doing. So
those are great co-op games.
Yeah, and they really hold up. Like we're playing the first one, and we just did like the first few levels. It's great still. Like those encounters are great. The enemy AI and the variety of weapons and enemies and stuff like it holds up really well for a 15-year-old game. So yeah, we're just gonna go through all the Halos, and then we're also doing Resident Evil 5 co-op. Which that does a more obnoxious split screen thing where it does not use the real estate. You know, like they wanted to keep the aspect ratio.
Yes, yeah.
So like, there's a good chunk of the screen that's just black.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Still really fun, you know, if you're playing on a big enough TV. So we're a few hours into that.
How are those Dead Risings? You're playing the new versions, right?
Yeah. It's reminding me that I really like Dead Rising games.
Oh yeah, I fucking love Dead Rising.
They're all great.
Even like weirdly, the further back you go, like the more fond I am of it, even though that it was also the more fucked up. Like they got progressively less fucked up mechanically in terms of just bizarre design decisions.
That first one was so weird with that because it was so early on in Xbox 360. I remember they had the font issue early on.
Oh yeah,
and the whole save system of that game was really weird.
It's the crazy urgency to the missions and the restart stuff.
Yeah, there was a weird amount of nostalgia when I was playing that first one, considering like I still consider Xbox 360 across the board to be like, oh, that's a recent system. But then I realized that game's almost like 10 years old.
Yeah. Yep, it's over. I think we just passed the 10-year mark, I think.
Yeah, and like playing it, just all the little sound effects and quirky little things in that game. I'm like, okay, I'm actually getting nostalgia for a 360 game, which is weird.
That game's like they looked at Majora's Mask and said, that stuff's bad, but we could take this and make something good out of it.
We can make it better.
What? What's the time stuff?
Time stuff.
Okay,
yeah, starting over.
Majora's Mask.
It's literally the same thing. It's it's like
72 hours.
It's a 3-day period that you can start over as many times as you want.
Sure.
but better. I don't know. Like
Sure.
Going into Dead Rising when that game first came out, like everything about it pushed me off the exact same way it did with Majora's. Where I was just like, man, fuck this. I don't want
that time limit.
That time limit stuff. It's like harsh. It's a hassle.
Yeah.
It's about like learning the route and doing all this stuff. Like that's not how I want to play this game.
Exactly.
But then I
went with it, right?
I had achievement fever at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And
That
that
game
game
was
had
good
some
for
really interesting achievements.
72,000 zombies.
First
or whatever.
game I remember
Yeah.
on 360 that had achievements that weren't just perfunctory. Like play through the game and you get them all.
Chapter
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it's like knock down 10 zombies with a bowling ball and stuff like that.
It was the first time I remember on that system where the achievements gave you reasons to do things you wouldn't have done otherwise, and that was super cool.
Yeah, so I ended up like playing a lot more of it than I probably would have otherwise, and really coming to respect that game in a way that and enjoy it in a way that I probably shouldn't have. But
it's very much its own thing.
Yeah.
Everything from the way it controls to its structure, and then I really do think they refined it with 2.
Yeah,
and
2 is probably the best game in the series, I think.
Well, I'm actually finding that. So I beat all the
Off the
core
record, or?
games, but yeah, I never beat Off the Record.
Okay.
That's the only one I haven't. So that's the one I'm putting the most time into right now. And yeah, having like the picture stuff, which I really like.
2 stuff, but with Frank,
Frank West. With Frank
instead
West.
of the
I
motorcycle
Chuck
guy.
Green,
I
And
reviewed
Chuck
that
Green,
game, and dude, Chuck Green's great. I mean, Chuck
He's
Green's
alright.
whatever, but the way that Chuck Green is treated is what's
Yes,
amazing.
yes, you're right.
Everybody just
Everyone
shits on
shits
him
on that fucker all the
constantly,
time.
and he just like takes it stone faced.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
I don't remember Frank West being so like he's like 75% Dan Aykroyd. At least in Off the Record, like playing as him, like he kind of looks like Aykroyd,
Yeah,
like a younger Aykroyd.
I wonder if
he's just
they-
kind of a dope.
I wonder if they leaned into that a little more with Off the Record than they did in the first game.
Maybe they did.
Loves vodka and aliens.
Yeah, he's covered.
Oh
This
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing, yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Full Aykroyd.
Yeah, because I think he emerged as like such an unlikely fan favorite after the first game that they were like, oh, we know why people like this guy. I mean, he's in the new one. He's going to be in 4. He's the playable character in 4.
Oh really?
So they're going back.
Oh yeah, they're doing
to
the
that
whole
well.
Christmas setting and everything in Willamette.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But that's the thing. Like as that series has dragged on, like they have yanked more and more of what makes Dead Rising unique out of it. Like
I don't know,
3,
like,
they had
really?
already put the time stuff and like all that stuff was kind of on the back burner. And then my understanding is it's not in 4 at all.
I'm
Okay,
okay
well,
with that.
People were very worried with 3. I remember when they showed that early trailer. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's going to get too serious. It's like
no,
airstrikes
no, it
instead
wasn't
of
that
like
at all.
goofy stuff." No, it's goofy as shit still.
It's 3 is super goofy, but
Yeah.
but the mechanically with the repeatable stuff, like
yeah,
I think it was optional to ever even start that game over. You didn't have to. I don't think I ever did.
You were able to keep all your level up stuff and all your skills and everything, right? You could basically start a new game plus at any point. Is that how that worked?
so.
In the original game, yeah, that was
Yeah.
the whole point of like, you'd level up to a certain point where it's like, now I have more blocks of health, and now I have more
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
sort of stuff. Plus, I know more about the world, so let's start over, and I can do better, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and 2 still has that stuff. Like there is a
Yeah.
sense of urgency.
That's what
when
I
you see
mean,
the
like,
timeline
yeah.
thing.
2 makes a lot. I went back and looked at the reviews of this stuff. I was just thinking about Dead Rising over the weekend, and yeah, like they refined a bunch of stuff in 2. They gave you more checkpointing and more options for just like quality of life stuff, but it
Yeah.
still retains that crazy feeling of like I've got a book over here before
Yeah.
this guy dies because I've got 10 minutes to finish this mission.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've gotten away from that, and that's kind of a shame.
I
I
welcome
think they've
that.
made it more playable by
Yeah.
people that don't want to dedicate themselves to a game like that,
Yeah.
and that's good and bad, right?
Yeah.
It's like it'll be a little more accessible to people, but it probably loses some of its soul along the way. Like 4, and seeing them saying like, it's, I don't know, here, have a mech suit. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that 4
I ended up
is-
not really liking the vehicle stuff in 3 that much.
Yeah, it was okay. Some of it was fun to just plow through hordes of zombies
Yeah.
with some really dumb mechanics and
I don't think
attacks.
it leaned
but
on it too terribly
not,
much.
It wasn't required. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
fast way to get
You'd
around.
occasionally have
Yeah.
to get on those highways, and it was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, like the structure of the world in 3, I think overall, like the nature of their open world and like as vehicles played into that, I think is actually what my real problem is. Just like, it's not an interesting world. It's too big. It's too weird. Like I like the idea of like, if you think about it, Dead Rising 1 is like almost like a Die Hard scenario. Frank West is like, he is kind of almost like, he's not a Dan Aykroyd surrogate. Like if anything, he should be kind of a goofy Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Especially if they're fucking going back to Willamette and stuff. Like there needs to be a fucking how does the same shit happen to the same guy twice moment.
Yeah.
in
I
this,
hope
right?
that is the theme
Like,
of
yeah,
the new one.
In Christmas time, no
in
less.
Christmas
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like and I think that like that sense of place of like, we built a mall, fuck you, it's a mall. I think that's
Yeah.
a big part of
And that
what
was-
made that game work originally.
That was
Yeah.
what was so great about 2, I thought, was that they found a way to one up a mall, and that's with a casino.
Right.
That's the only way that
mall-like environments
because
too.
a casino has them all
Yeah,
in it.
yeah,
And
and it's a
great.
casino. Yeah, it
Right.
was so good.
And I don't know what you yeah, I don't know how you escalate on that.
Yeah.
But also, like, returning to a mall, I think it would be fine at this point, too.
Yeah.
I think it
but
has to
I
be,
mean,
yeah.
that game is it's visibly like outdoors. You're
Yeah.
just in the town.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it's going to be more like 3 in structure.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I think that was. I had a lot of problems with 3. I played 3 and enjoyed it, but at some point just fell away from it. It just didn't feel like it had enough soul, I guess I would say.
Yeah,
I think I just
the
got
way-
sidetracked. Like,
Did you not?
I think I enjoyed the game. I did not finish it.
Oh man,
I really enjoyed it.
I know.
Played, but I got sidetracked.
I know.
by
I went
something.
through it the game of the year discussions the year that thing came out. But the
Yeah.
way they tie it back into the previous games at the
Really?
end of that game is pretty fucking nuts.
Forgot what they
I want to
do.
go back.
It's been long enough, right? I could just say it.
It was a launch game.
Like
yeah.
the blonde girl that has been part of the story, like the big part of the story throughout the entire game. Like you find out is the little girl from 2 at the end of the game.
Oh, cool.
And Chuck
Oh.
Green shows up.
Oh,
Oh,
rad.
And he's
right,
super
right,
fucking
right.
grizzled. He's got this
right.
big beard, and he's just like
Okay.
ready to
Forgot
fuck
about
shit
that.
up. And it's a really weird callback.
Huh.
I want to see that.
No, these have been a good reminder though that like, oh yeah, those games were weird and cool, and I really do like them. Like they don't really add anything. It's still got like online co-op and stuff for 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially for people who haven't checked out Off the Record, it's really good.
Yeah.
Because that only came to the. It was a
No,
download.
no,
that was a download.
No, it
like,
was-
No, you're thinking
it
of
was on disc.
K0. K0 was that like
was
prologue thing that was like $5, which was a
Right.
really cool
is
thing.
Case Zero
Yeah,
in
I love that.
the Dead Rising 2
I have not
re-release?
seen it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, I've only pulled up Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2 off the record.
Okay,
I have
you should
not
launch 2
tried
and
2
see
yet.
if Case Zero is in there.
Yeah, I liked K0 a lot.
That thing was neat because it
Yeah.
was a side. It was like
And
a
it was
side.
before the game
it was like a
came out,
prequel.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little desert town.
Yeah, it
or
was like
something.
it was a tiny little like 50-person town
Condensed.
on the interstate in the
Yeah.
desert, and it had its own story, and then you could carry that level progress over into
Yeah.
the game. It was a neat idea.
I was
Really
not
cool
an
idea.
achievement hunter at that time, but like that was the first game that I actually got like all the achievements.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So this is a triple pack that they've re-released,
Yeah, I think
right?
you can
So
get all
this
3
is-
of them for $50.
And yeah, it's kind of misleading, I guess. Like I would expect the third game to be in there, but no, it's Dead
It's
Rising
1, 2,
1,
and Off the
2,
Record.
and then Dead
Yeah.
Rising 2
Yeah.
off the record.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, you can get them
everywhere.
20
Like,
each, I
they're
think.
20
yeah.
bucks, something
If you
like
just
that.
want one of them if you haven't played it or
It's kind
whatever,
of a
probably
PC
off the
also,
record.
right?
Dead
Well,
Ri-
2
so-
and Off the Record had good PC ports when they came out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Dead Rising
Well, I
1,
mean, did they do anything to these? Does they look better? Like, what's the
They
story?
run
Is it just-
it like I saw it said that it runs at 60 and everything's up res and looks a little better, but
All right.
I mean it feels like an old game. Like it's
Yeah.
not like any huge changes
Right.
they made. So
I played a little bit of 1 on the PC last night.
yeah, that's never been out on the PC.
Yeah, it
before.
looks better. I
Cool.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's clean textures. and
Probably
stuff.
mess around with that. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
should.
I don't
Oh,
know
it
how
would
much
be-
I'll dedicate to it, but like I kind of want to screw around with
It
a
would be
little
interesting
bit
to-
of Dead Rising.
It would be interesting to dig into the first one with like Cheat Engine or like whatever mods
oh
that
yeah.
people come up with.
Just remove that timer. Fuck it. Just get rid of it.
Frank the Cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's one of the costumes.
Yeah.
What else did you say you've been playing?
Resident Evil 5, Halo.
yeah, I guess that covers-
I beat AM2R,
Okay, yeah,
Picross, obviously.
Yeah, I'm still knocking out a little Picross
Yeah.
here and there.
You liking it?
every couple of days. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Brad, do you play anymore? I know you were doing.
Yeah, it's
some Pro
I've
stuff.
been
yeah.
doing it on the bus. It's
Yeah.
a good commute game.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're
You
playing-
guys,
playing- I'm
you
sorry.
guys still playing that God Eater too? No?
Yeah.
Nothing? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Every night.
I am.
Me and my
actually.
crew.
I'm playing a shit ton more.
Yeah.
me and my gods. Me and the gods get together.
Eat them up.
Yeah.
Story's actually getting interesting now, which is saying something. So this is Rage Burst is like the expansion of God Eater 2. So I'm about like 60 missions in, and I want to say that there's like 80 in that main storyline, and then there's Rage Burst content. So I've got a lot of God Eater on my plate for sure, and I do want to play through it all. But I'm trying out some of the weapons and the different blood arts, and it's just getting way more interesting. They did sneak a couple of musical numbers in on
Nice.
like
Good.
As expected.
yeah, like I'd like not even like corny ones, just really bad ones. So be aware that there's some fucking anime in God Eater
Maybe
2.
you and Dan should link up. Then.
Yeah,
I love hunting.
Yeah.
Dan's
Okay.
way into that. I hear.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I dig that game.
Cool. Playing anything else?
No.
Taking
No,
all
kind.
all
Yeah,
your
I mean,
time.
no, just
Are you still messing with the King of Fighters at all?
no, I'm not.
Yeah, me neither. And I haven't. And I have installed. I look at the icon every so often
Yeah,
as I'm
I want
like
to.
on that PS4 dashboard. And I was like, oh, King of Fighters. I never really got into that the way I wanted to. But then
that-
I just never.
There's-
Is that just like we're playing new games all the time, or is that the game doesn't have much staying power?
I want to say I'm playing more new games all the time. Also, like the level of difficulty of that game to like be really good at it, it's a very high bar. It's a
Really?
it's a very technically
and it seems like
challenging
maybe the
game.
people who did pick it up are
very,
already there.
very good. And yeah,
Yeah.
I played a few matches online, and I'm like, wow, I'm not anywhere near this level. I need to be able to play this with people around my same level, friends, because then it would be fun. But there's just not a lot of friends playing it right now. So
Yeah, I just didn't see a lot of pickup from anyone I know either.
yeah, a lot of mentions on my tweets and stuff. A lot of people are playing it, but those are people that were already in the KOF.
Okay, so
You're just following those lunatics.
Yeah.
and-
So it is hitting with the people that it needs to hit
It
with.
seems seems
Okay.
to they were already into that, and they really want to rep it, and they really want it to be successsul. So I don't know if I'm getting a clear opinion.
You think it'll
from those
pop
guys,
up
but
at EVO next year? Is it?
there's
I mean, I'm sure every fighting game is there to some extent.
no,
At least in a hotel room or something.
Yeah, definitely in a hotel room. But as far as main stage stuff,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know for sure. Seems to be popular enough. Fingers crossed.
Cool. Speaking of
Yeah.
weird esoteric Japanese games, did you play any more Project Diva X?
No.
No?
No.
No.
Yeah, we did a little
We
on
played it for the
UPF.
show. It's it's an Elite Beat Agent style rhythm game, as those Hatsune Miku games have been all along.
Is that what the F was? Same game? Same type game?
Probably.
I
I don't know, man.
It's like that. Was
I'll tell you what the F is off the air.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I sat in on that quick look, and it's just a fever dream in my mind.
I don't even
What
remember
that
it
thing
anymore.
was. It
yeah.
was
But yeah, those are games are rhythm games,
Okay.
and they've come out on the Vita and stuff like that elsewhere. Which touchscreen might be a better way to play some of that stuff. I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's just
It's hard to show those off, right? In a quick look style.
I'm just not interested in any of the music at
Okay.
all. So
That's sad.
It's kind
I
of.
generally like what I've heard from
I
the Miku.
can throw the fuck down with some J-pop here and there.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, but I've got multiple speed greatest hits collections, man. I'll fuck around. But it's just I don't know. None of that stuff is interesting to me.
Never
I
have it,
don't.
yeah.
I don't like the characters. I don't like the.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's just. I will play a fucking goofy ass rhythm game, but that game is not goofy enough, and the music is not good enough to make me want to engage with it any further.
I would totally dig another Elite Beat Agents.
Yeah,
That game
fuck,
is
man.
great.
Who was Innis? Is that who made that?
Yeah, and then they made
Yeah.
that karaoke. They made the game that came with the light up microphone for the 360.
Right.
They did that.
Yes.
That karaoke
Right.
thing.
Lips?
Lips.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lips.
That's
yeah.
right. Are they still around?
I don't know.
Huh.
That's a
look
good
that up.
question.
Yeah. They only made the one Elite Beat Agents, right?
There was a Wendon.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I've got. a second Owendon? Or were you saying
no,
also?
No, Wendon
okay.
also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bought that when we were in Japan for TGS one year, and then
Yeah. Like
And
those,
that's
are,
a
those
totally-
are both worth owning.
totally different game, right?
yeah,
Like different
more
different
yeah.
songs and stages and stuff.
I think it's 100%
Pretty sure it was
different.
mostly
Yeah.
different, at least.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Those were great games.
Yeah.
Those would be good iOS games
Mm.
also.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't even think about that.
Hmm.
Drew,
Yes.
what's going on down there?
I played a lot of Picross
Yeah.
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Or as Dan likes to say, Picross.
Across.
Which
Go either way.
flavor are you getting into? Which one?
3D Deuce.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The new one. The hotness. It's great.
It's fucking really good.
I've
good.
never played
It's
a
very good.
Picross game before.
Okay, so 2D, nothing like this is.
No.
All right, yeah.
I've been in the control room for a lot of Picross quick looks,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the first time I've ever had some hands-on time, and it's so good.
Yeah.
It has grabbed me in a way that game has not in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some really deliberate tutorials, and is a good.
Oh yeah, that's
The
maybe
Nintendo thing.
the only real downside of that thing is it takes 30, 45 minutes of just like
You need
Clicking.
it. though.
Skip that.
You do need it.
If you
Yeah.
can skip it if you already
Oh, can
understand
you?
it, but
Okay.
there are
Yes.
there are new mechanics in this game that you would probably
Yeah.
need to know
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
New puzzle elements, I guess I should say, not
Sure.
necessarily mechanics.
It's
but-
the basic Picross stuff that you can skip
Okay.
if you've played Picross. It's the color stuff that,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
me playing a lot
and
of
the
Picross,
square
it's-
stuff because they only had circles before.
No, they had squares before.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
3D had squares. Yeah.
All right.
I would also say if you're new to Picross or maybe even not, because it sounds like this is different enough from the original Picross 3D.
Yeah, the color stuff.
There's a separate. They don't call it a tutorial mode. There's like a
tips and tricks thing.
level pack
Mhm.
basically that unlocks.
Yeah.
With once you beat a few levels, I would get into that as soon as possible
Oh.
because it's sort of like
It shows you the logic of it.
Yeah, just like
It's like here are some methods you would use to deduce the solutions based on the information at your disposal.
Yeah, like,
so it's actually if you haven't like crossed that mind gap yourself, like that will draw the fucking path for you in a way that like some people will totally need.
There is a certain headspace you need to get into to solve those things quickly.
It's instead of a full puzzle, it'll be like, here's a row of 5 squares, and we have this one number on it. Like, based on that information, tell us right now, like, which ones you know for sure can be blue.
Yeah.
And then it'll, like,
So
confirm.
it's kind of teaching you what you can infer from the information.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like, if there's a space here and there's only X amount of blocks, like,
there was
both
one
end caps have
there
to
was
be.
one of those in there that like if I had not done that tutorial, I would fuck up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, like even having played the previous game mostly completion, like there was stuff in there that I was like, oh shit, like it's a good thing they said that because that's not the assumption I would make.
Yeah, before I did that, I got to like one of the bigger puzzles, and it was in an early on pack. I'm like, this is impossible. I'm having to like go through every single combination and try each one. You know, and I would just guess and get it wrong.
Yeah.
And
You never need to guess.
You never need to guess. Yeah. But then I went into that tips and tricks thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, I should really be able to deduce this stuff much better. And it was a great way to learn them.
That sounds really helpful because I don't know about you guys, but the second they give you the difficulty option, I immediately put it to hard because I want the most points. I want to unlock stuff as fast as I can. So
I think it's the most rewarding. Like even as a beginner coming in here, I would definitely recommend doing.
I've been playing on medium, but I might go back and step it up. I was initially thinking like I'll just play through on medium and then maybe go back and play it on hard because like I seem to burn through these games really quickly and always go like, man, I wish I had fucking more shit to do. So I'm almost thinking that maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
Also, I'm an idiot. Because like everyone has said all along, like, man, why isn't there a Picross 3D on the 3DS? It's a natural fit. Idiots. The bottom screen is not in 3D. It doesn't matter. Like there's everything you're working with is identical to the DS game. It's not, you gain nothing other than after you finish it, it spins up to the 3D screen and you're like, oh.
You can rotate your little frog around or whatever.
Yeah, which you don't need.
Also, I do appreciate the little info panels. Like when you finish a frog, it'll tell you like, hey, this is what a frog is.
Yeah.
Like it's green and it hops around. And
all the text in that is the cutest, like just the most boilerplate.
Pencils are used for writing on paper.
It's so good. It's
How many? So you're in a
so goofy.
You're in a you have Amiibos.
Yes.
How many Amiibo have you found that work with that game?
I've been able to dig like 6 or 7 of them out of my individually wrapped bubble wrap container right now. I think there are 10 maybe.
Do you really need to bubble wrap Amiibos?
I did every single one individually bubble wrapped.
Aren't they pretty like?
He's invested a lot of money.
Heartily manufactured.
I display them.
Some nice hard plastic, right?
It's like his Fabergé eggs.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
There are a bunch of swords and stuff that kind of stick out.
There's edges and stuff. That
get your collection insured.
That's probably covered by my renter's insurance, right? Yeah. So they're all wrapped up. But yeah, I think there's like 10 or so.
I can only find of the Amiibo that I have received in conjunction with Nintendo sending out games for review. And then a couple of fans sending in a few here and there. Mario is the only one I've had.
Yeah, Mario, Yoshi, Luigi, Link.
Weird, I don't have a Yoshi.
Kirby.
Huh. Yeah, I do have a Kirby. I do have a Kirby.
I think Bowser. I think all the like core Mario guys plus like
they sent a Kirby with Robobot.
Planet Robobot. Yeah.
Are they generous enough to like let you use any Yoshi to get the Yoshi puzzle?
Yeah, like I did Yarn Yoshi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I have
like
multiple
6 different
Marios.
ones like that. But the downside of that is that both Marios unlock the same puzzle, and you're like, well, what the fuck? Why don't all of these work? Like, why don't they all work? Like, it's not. Just make the fucking puzzles that look like, oh, this one looks like Rob the Robot. Like, why isn't there a fucking Rob the Robot puzzle in that game?
Like 100 new puzzles.
Yeah!
I mean, yeah, that'd be great.
It's a $30 game. Make the Amiibos make sense for once. By like, every game should do something with every Amiibo. At least that piece of shit Metroid game gives you the X-ray skin for your outfit if you use an unsupported Amiibo.
Oh, okay.
It gives you something.
Just
it's
like
the same thing.
Here's the
for
generic
every,
reward for anything we didn't build specifically.
Like
That's
at
all
least
right.
have the generic reward instead of something
cool.
like instead I put the Amiibo on. It's just like nope. I'm like thanks,
sure.
guys. Ugh.
All right.
I also played a little more Luminous on the iOS. Which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
And that Shibuya Grandmaster.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
That game's cool.
Yeah.
I guess it was free as a promotion during the Friday show.
Oh, really? Was that what it was?
Typically, they reached out on Twitter. I think it's typically $2.
Okay.
The game's neat. I'm bad at it. but it's cool.
I played the first one and was bad at it, and there was some color stuff also that made it a little tricky.
Yeah.
I think they've added icons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that
this
would
one
circumvent that stuff, but I also just I don't know.
colors in Grandmaster are all like pastel. I wonder if that is that better than primary colors.
Super depends. You know, it's up to every individual person and all that other stuff. It depends if the colors are right next to each other or if they're on opposite sides of the screen. Like there's just a lot of dumb shit like
There's
that.
some color packs, although I don't know if those are just backgrounds or if they actually change the color of the blocks themselves. If you've never played Shibuya, there are horizontal blocks falling slowly from the top of the or fast, depending on what difficulty you pick.
Yeah.
And they would all stack on top of each other in, as bars would just across the screen. There's no moving side to side. It is just a row of colors, but you get to pick in what order they drop. So you're trying to drop them to create combos. Like, all right, I want one blue here, and then two greens, and then another blue on top of that, so that I can bust out the greens, and then those two blues will come together, and boom, that's a combo. I hope that made sense.
Yeah,
It did, actually.
It made sense to me as someone who's played that game, but yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. It's like Clax if you could determine the order in which things fall, and also there was no left or right movement.
Right.
That probably doesn't help either.
Yeah.
'Cause
It is the 90s.
there's time for Shibuya Grandmaster.
I also rode a bike this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
what kind of bike are we talking?
Like a road bike.
Okay.
I have a road bike. I haven't ridden it in, like 2.5 years.
Nice.
But I signed up for a charity bike ride,
Yeah.
and it's 130 miles.
Wow.
Wait, hang on.
Where are you going to end up?
It's waves to wine. So we're starting in San Francisco and going to somewhere in Sonoma, I guess.
Okay.
That's not 100 miles.
Unless
Unless you go somewhere real weird.
it's well,
Is that like windy? Like
I guess
they're
it
taking,
would.
they're taking
Yeah,
all
you'd have
turns
to-
and stuff.
you
into
would- I
account?
guess you wouldn't take
Yeah.
any fucking freeways. Then
Right.
you're gonna be the people riding out like through Nicasio and stuff like that I almost run over.
yeah, I'm scared about that.
Yeah.
and want to run over.
I got a flashy light that I'm going to put on during the day.
Yeah.
But it's 2 days, so it's
Oh, wow.
80 miles the first day
Mm-hmm.
and then 50 miles the next. I am real scared, so I went out this weekend and did 20 miles, and that was okay. But I'm going to have to do that 3 more times in one day. So
How long did it take you to go 20 miles?
an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
you
I was
can-
averaging like 15 miles an hour.
Okay, yeah, you can
It
cover
was all
some,
flat.
yeah.
So I don't
cover
know.
some ground on a bike.
We bought a bike over the weekend.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You should come with me.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
If you want, it is for the Bike MS charity. If you'd like to sponsor me, and hopefully I won't die, and thus
You
have to refund your money.
A new charity will be born.
there you go. It is
Drew's Kids.
you can you can go to tinyurl.com/drewbikes.
Your bikes.
Nice.
Bikes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife wanted a bike to just kind of ride across town and stuff like that when she's just kind of doing little around town stuff.
What'd you get? Like beach cruiser?
No, well, it's just. I mean, no, not quite a beach cruiser. It was an economical bike, couple $100,
Okay.
a few $100, something like that. A Detour 1, I think it's called, was the model number. But I can't tell you what type of bike it is. It's got like 6 gears.
Does it
and
look like a
and
chopper,
handbrakes.
but it's a bicycle?
Yeah, it's a low rider.
Nice.
It's a scraper bike. We went and bought fucking scraper
nice,
bikes.
nice.
Do you walk it with your feet instead of pedaling?
You could, yeah.
Okay.
No.
Nice.
And so we went and test drove bikes,
Awesome.
which was a really weird concept. They were like, give us your license and stuff, because some people will just ride away with the bike and never come back. And then they had us go behind the store, and she rode it around, and it'd been her first time on a bike in a while. And then like I decided I was gonna ride it around a little bit, and I was like, man, I want to buy a fucking bike.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna buy a bike.
Do it.
But like she bought it for utility. It's got a
Mhm.
basket on the front of it, and she's gonna ride it to work, or like do other stuff. Like maybe do some light grocery shopping.
Is
or something
Petaluma
like
that bike friendly?
Yeah, yeah.
It's called Petaluma.
yeah.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Absolutely, yeah. You could ride across town in
Yeah.
20 minutes or something like
Okay.
that. It's not not that there's some overpasses and
Yeah.
stuff, but it's pretty fucking flat.
Well, I mean, you're not going to get run down or like. It's
There are bike
easy to
lanes.
cross.
It's
Okay.
decent.
Oh, wow.
There are a couple of spots where like, I don't know, like, when I rode bikes as a kid, I always rode it on private property. And so there's still something in me that, like, the notion of riding a bike alongside cars freaks the fuck out of me, man. I don't want to do that.
Up till I was like 10, 11, I was the same way. And then my neighbor was like, man, fuck it, let's just go. And we would like go all the way across town from the age of like 12 on. And I was like, man, this is it's a whole new world out here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go anywhere I want.
I don't know, man. But I want to get a bike and just ride it around for fun. Like, I don't even want to get a bike lock. I just want to like ride a bike, and there's some dirt trails near me that I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna get I want to get basically an adult-sized BMX bike.
Yeah,
back to fucking brake, a rotor, so I can do sick fucking bar spins, and like that. So that I did not expect. I think about it every few years. I go through this process of like, man, I should get a fucking sick fucking bike. Nah. But now that I actually like rode a bike for the first time in a while, I can't stop thinking about buying a fucking bike.
I really enjoyed this weekend. Like, I hadn't been on it in years, and it all came back.
That's great.
Turns out you don't really forget.
Exactly.
No,
that was
I've been wondering.
that stuff holds up. Like there was definitely a moment of just like, I just move. And as long as I'm moving at a decent speed, this is going to be fine.
And you can stop moving and you still go.
Yeah.
It's the best.
You can stand up on the pedals.
You could ride without hands if you're that good.
If you've got a freewheel.
No,
you got to fix those.
Those people are cocky. They deserve what they fucking get.
Yes. Fully agree.
I can't do it.
No.
I've never been able to.
You put pegs on the back and people can ride with you.
Yeah.
Or you can just like stand on the pegs.
Put some baseball
That was
cards in
always
the
the best.
spokes.
Now you're talking.
You get white and black checkerboard pads. Man,
Go through puddles.
I just want to get a fucking big BMX bike. I saw someone riding one that almost fit the description of what I was looking for, but it was like matte black. It looked fucking dirty. I was like, yeah, I want a fucking dirty, fucked up bike. Yeah, I don't know.
It's still fun.
I should probably get a bike.
I see a lot of tricked out like BMX bikes over in Oakland. A lot of them. Yeah, they're pretty popular. Pretty cool.
Like that it like a tall adult might be able to ride on.
Yeah,
because that was the question I was asking in the store. Because like after we came back in to actually buy the bike, I was like,
I saw one dude actually trick his out. And it's like not on stilts, but it's like a high fucking like 6 feet tall BMX bike. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, that's
he's got like a ladder to climb
East Bay
up
is
to
where
it.
all the scraper bikes and all that other stuff happened. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's
like,
pretty cool.
Some people do sideshows in cars and get arrested. Some people do
it
them
in
on bikes and they're fine.
My bike has been sitting in the garage of my building untouched for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm terrified of riding it in San Francisco.
Dude, yeah,
that is
I
the
would
one
never do
place
that.
that you would never ride a bike.
I went
did it
across Golden
once.
Gate Bridge once when I first moved out here, and that was really cool.
Like I've known so many people over the years that I've lived here who commute on bikes here, and like
Rory?
Yeah. I think he's always been fine. Vinny rode his bike to Sausalito
Danny
a bunch
on occasion.
But
Patrick
I know
broke his collarbone.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know so many people that have eaten shit on bikes in this town.
Rory got in a pretty bad accident.
Did he?
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if a
didn't know
car
that.
was involved, but
I can think of multiple people. I know somebody who like. I think this is pretty common. Like somebody who just opened their door, like they parallel parked and just opened their passenger door and fucking right into the door.
I saw a dude get doored on Market. It was
actually
rough.
I know people have gone over cars' hoods, like just and
Like this city is chaos.
Yeah,
between
it is
the
fucking
people on bikes and
terrifying.
people in cars. Like even as someone who drives a car around here, like it is terrifying because there are sometimes where I have to turn right, where I have to cross through a bike lane because the right turn lane's on the other side of the bike lane, and then there's be a ton of bikes. I'm like, I need to get over, and like those people aren't necessarily paying attention. I'm doing the best I can, but I'm in this big car with blind spots, and like it's just.
Yeah,
I'm surprised more people don't get super fucked up all the time.
I sold my bike last week actually because New York. I can't imagine that's going to be a very bike friendly city.
And also public transit.
Manhattan?
Public transit is so good in New York that you're fine.
I think I'm going to wait until like I get a house and I can actually ride around suburbs.
Yeah, unlike the fucking Muni.
Yeah.
And to be fair, as hazardous as cars are to bicyclists here, there are also a lot of deranged assholes on bikes here.
Totally.
Yes.
Very militant people on bikes that are. Like,
use their bike locks as weapons.
You're right.
Yeah. There are tons of people on bikes who just fucking like don't give two shits about
throw fucking bolts at your car and
or just like sail
dents in your car.
Sail through red lights. Like I've almost gotten hit by people on bikes in crosswalks like more times than I can count. Like
also, I've frequently seen like homeless people with like giant wagons with what appears to be 30 bikes worth of parts on it.
That's where
and
my
just
bike
like
went.
wheeling it down the street, like clearly stolen parts.
it's also like some
How
Mad
is
Max
that-
shit.
Yeah, I just like it happens on 2nd Street here all the time. I don't know how cops don't go up and go like, "Hey, you clearly stole all these bike
What are they
parts."
going to do? Like prove it? They can't prove it.
guess.
They're going to sit there and go like, "Oh, where'd you get the bike parts?" But like that's
But in the middle of the day, I will see people like just like hacking up like bike locks and stuff just in broad daylight. People walking by and just
who's going to
no one
stop
giving
a bike
shit.
thief?
The cops should.
Where are the cops?
That's exactly. That
I don't
seems
see
like
many
an
of
issue.
them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, on some level, you think like, oh, cops have bigger fish to fry and stuff like that. Like the number of fucking red lights I have run and just like traffic violations I have pulled directly in front of police in this town
Really?
is kind of wild.
Is it a bigger fish to fry situation, or is there like a drought of cops in San Francisco?
I think it would.
Like, I never see.
I
cops
suspect
here.
it's a bigger fish to fry sort of thing. It's like as long as you're not fucking up too bad. But then it gets into like, oh, the crimes they are actually looking out for are maybe super fucked and maybe racially profiled in some ways. And this is actually really like it's.
But
Yeah, when you dig into it, it's fucked.
You have to imagine what it is when people are shooting up heroin and like shitting on the street, like on Market Street in broad daylight, and no one's stopping them.
Right.
Like, what are the things that are? Where's the line?
But like what do you stop them with? Like you lock them up and then release them again. It's like homeless people. Like
harsher penalties. I guess,
with
right?
what? Fucking you're gonna like then is the government infrastructure supposed to then pay to house every it's a messy it's a fucking mess
That's a
any way
bigger
you look.
discussion.
Like exactly like that's yes. And ultimately, government needs to invest more in like mental health services.
Oh, yes.
Indeed.
But fuck, man, yeah.
I can't imagine what kind of picture of the city we paint for people who have never
An
been
accurate
here.
one.
It's not exactly hell on earth.
I saw
walk,
someone
I guess.
commenting and saying like, "Oh, I'm from San Francisco. I live here. It's not so bad. It's still weird." I'm like,
Yeah. Oh man, I don't want to even.
You guys have a
I
bike
sat-
stolen?
No, but I was sitting
Oh, yeah.
next. I was sitting next to like two dudes who looked like they couldn't be more than like 22 on the bus the other day, talking about how their combined household income was like $700,000 or
Fuck,
something, and I just wanted to
man.
fucking jump out the window and never come back.
Yeah.
I was sitting.
you could
waiting.
run a website out of a cornfield.
Yeah.
You could run a website out of an underground disused missile silo.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of places other than
offshore
here.
oil
Get
rig.
a
Let's
missile-
do it.
We should get a missile silo.
That was always the dream.
I
That was
wanna-
the original dream.
Yes.
We can
Like
make that
launching
happen.
giant bomb was like talking to Mike Tatum. It's
very appropriate.
Let's it's like what do you want to do? It's like I want to fucking buy a missile silo and live in it. We'll take vitamin D pills. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
There was one on eBay
Yeah.
a while ago with a runway up top.
Yeah, man.
Yep, and a little hangar.
Just got
We
the
could all
plane.
fly in there.
How much? How much? We're talking.
It's, $2 million.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
It's not. I've just talked to those people on the bus.
We've got a sale
Yeah.
going on right now for
That's right.
subscriptions. Okay. Yeah.
Rob from GameSpot said that he was waiting for a bus the other day, and some lady just walked up to him with a needle and just poked him. What the fuck? And then just started like
man.
cackling in his face, like, oh, I got you with my
what?
needle. Yeah.
That's like my ultimate fear
Dude.
of everything, except it was always that the needle was going to be full of drugs and I was going to get addicted to them.
Oh,
But also, it's like that's how junkies find customers, right? They're going to go get people hooked on heroin.
yeah.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
But like did he then go to the fucking hospital?
He said it did not break the skin, but it freaked him out.
Yeah.
And then, like, much less stakes here, but like I was waiting for a train this weekend, and I bought a 6-pack of that Not Your Father's root beer, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I look over, and there's just some guy sitting next to me, and he has his hand in my beer trying to take a beer out, and I just stared at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And he just like put it back and started staring straight ahead.
Wow.
Like, fuck, man, yeah. Not as bad as the needle, but fuck
No,
that guy.
no.
City by the Bay.
You're going to spend more time in New York and realize that there's just
as
enough
many
of
fucked
this
up people.
stuff there
Yeah.
that
It's not
It's not-
exactly
it's-
like Kansas.
It's not just San Francisco, man.
Yeah.
Cities.
Oh, I know.
Cities. Yeah.
It has a different feel, though, from what I've
Oh,
seen.
sure.
But it's not like everything's going to be pristine and perfect in New York.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that. So.
All right. We're going to take another break. We've got
Okay.
a lot of news to talk about this
Yeah,
week,
cool.
so we will be right back.
It's time to stop choosing between price and quality when it comes to getting an amazing and affordable shave.
That can't work.
It cannot work.
This
You,
equation can't be balanced.
you
This
can't
makes
have
no
it both
sense.
ways. Oh, wait. You can have it both ways. That's where the Dollar Shave Club comes in, pal.
To crack the code.
That's right. DollarShaveClub.com is the answer, and they'll give you your first month free if you join their club.
I like being part of clubs.
You're a joiner?
I like to feel like I belong.
Okay, then this is perfect.
I want to be part of the crew, the club, the crowd,
Join the club.
the herd.
The Dollar Shave Club, that is. DollarShaveClub.com delivers razors right to your door for about a third of the price of what those greedy razor corporations charge.
They can have their 2/3.
Exactly.
I'll be over here with my club.
Uh-huh.
My squad?
Yes. Your clique.
Okay.
Your set. Your posse.
Okay.
You gotta keep it razor blade sharp, son.
Yep.
At these prices, you can afford to change that razor out anytime you want. Don't extend the lives of your razor and scratch dull metal across your face like a crazy person.
Yep.
That's just not what it's all about.
Treat yourself.
Exactly. Get treated. Here's your chance to see why over 3 million members are into the Dollar Shave Club.
A lot of shaving people.
Uh-huh. They'll just ask you to pay shipping, but they'll give you the first month for free, and after that, it's a few bucks a month. There's no long-term commitment or hidden fees. There's no reason not to do it.
Okay. Just put it that way.
Yeah.
I guess I have to.
You can jump in. You can get jumped into the club over at dollarshaveclub.com/bombcast. One more time. That's dollarshaveclub.com/bombcast.
I have to imagine getting jumped into a razor club is a
These razors are sharp, son.
sharp affair.
Look out.
Jeff, at Drew's request,
Uh-huh.
we should probably touch on the Tomorrow Children.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Yeah, comrades.
I completely forgot.
Yeah.
We did a quick look at one up yesterday.
Yeah, what a bummer.
Is it? Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, for me, it was like I bought it and thought like, oh, there's some really interesting, like maybe this game has something to say about microtransactions in an interesting way because of like this communist thing and help, like when you buy into it, you start at like a higher level in a way that's like you're a higher tier of citizen. You're a better person.
I mean, you literally the bonus. Well, so first of all, it's going to be a free-to-play game, but right now you have to pay to get in, so you don't have a choice.
Yeah, I started looking for the free-to-play version and could not find it.
That's,
like,
that's coming.
Okay, all right.
I think
actually,
you can send invites.
You can invite
so
some people.
I can
after
invite
you've bought
you
in.
to play for free.
But literally the bonus pack, like hey, you bought the thing, so here's your bonus stuff, is called the Bourgeoisie Papers.
Nice.
Like you're basically licensed as a higher class citizen,
and you have the papers. Like other characters reference, like, oh, you've got your papers. Like it's
And you think that's a commentary on
yeah, maybe, but like I don't know that they get a pass. Like
no,
if you're
totally
doing the thing where you're trying to comment on something, but also just doing it at the same time.
Yeah, I think if there was something more interesting that it had to say about that sort of stuff, other than just like, no, we're exploiting the same systems, but just kind of wrapping it in this kind of wrapper that maybe has a wink and a nod. But I think ultimately, so we sat down for that quick look, and I had played like the first half hour of it or something like that. So I was like, oh, there's digging, and I'm building a town. Like, okay, this is weird, but it seems potentially very interesting. And then we got up to the point where you sat down and said, to craft things, you have to solve a number sliding puzzle.
No, because I had played several hours of it at that point.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, this is I wasted my money on this game because that, and also you can pay real money, which you sometimes find in the world, but
not a lot,
but not that much.
You'll find like $3 or $4 at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
what's the cost to like solve the 20? Okay.
For the ones I was doing, I don't know if that scales with like the quality of thing you're trying to craft, but yeah, it's like $20 of the real money currency to bypass.
Not $20 US.
Yeah,
20.
Yeah.
Freeman dollars.
Every time you have to craft something?
Yes, every time you craft, and you know the type of puzzle I'm talking about.
Is it the one where there's one empty space?
Yes, there's one empty tile. One empty tile, and you have to slide stuff around.
The worst part of Wind Waker was that island. I hate those things.
That's an absolute deal breaker for me. I don't want to
same here.
At a minimum, you're doing a 3x3 one of those, but for anything higher tier, like a hover car that lets you, because you can't leave town to go out into the world and explore except by getting on the bus, because you'll just sink into the ground and die immediately. So to make a hover car, which is like the fastest way to go exactly where you want to go, it was like what was that thing? A 5x5?
It was a 4x4 I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
16 slots,
I think you're right. You're right. But yeah, it was like, and they're timed. You have a time limit.
Oh, fuck everything about this game.
I tried, like, I'm terrible at those things, but I tried like 2 or 3 times in a row to finish that 4x4 puzzle to make the hover car and could not, and finally just paid the currency cost to bypass it.
Gotcha.
It was
Congratulations, comrade.
yeah.
Is
So
there
it's-
a
that's the
logic?
free market economy?
Like I love logic puzzles, but with those, I don't know if it's some
Yeah,
visual
I think
thing.
there
that's
are,
not
there's,
firing
there's
or
absolutely,
something.
absolutely
there are-
like if
there
you
are
know what
tricks
to
to
do,
them.
you
Yeah.
do them.
I've
Yeah.
never
But
done a million of those.
Yeah, I've never taken the time to try to learn that stuff.
Yeah, that's never clicked with me. I've never
Yeah.
understood how to well, okay, I got that where I want it, but now that's all the way over there. And
Now, if you did a Picross puzzle,
Oh,
then we'd be talking.
I'd ace it.
Yeah.
I could be into that.
That would be great.
But yeah, it seems like that there are some fascinating ideas in the Tomorrow Children, and I like its like
Style.
art
Oh,
style.
the look
Yeah.
of it, the look
Look
and the
of it's cool.
aesthetic and everything about it, the presentation.
And there's something about the harshness of it, of like, hey, yeah, you're going to craft this hover car, but it's for the people. Anyone else could jump in your hover car and take
yeah,
it.
it can be
weird.
taken the second you get out
Like
of it.
the nature of the game and kind of what you're trying to build and the society that in which everyone is living in that game. All that makes sense in a
Yeah.
harsh way. That's
Yeah.
just like, okay, this all right, fuck me. Like I get it. Okay.
So it's like a communism simulator.
Yeah,
Yes,
so yeah,
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
it's like the ultimate like communist video game experiment because like when you walk up to stations that are in use, the button prompt literally says like get in line or line up. Like you literally like
Which is
line
not
up,
a fun thing to
line
do
up
at all.
and
No,
stand
it's
there.
I get what
and
they're
the line
going
will
for.
advance automatically as people get done at the station and you get closer to using it. It's
But
fascinating, but
fuck that thing, man.
Maybe
I don't
not.
think I want to play this game.
Yeah, no, it's a bummer. There's
we can send you an invite if you want to check it out, or it'll
Yeah.
just be free to play at some point.
I mean, I don't like puzzle sliding things or communism.
But
so.
the entirety of the game is just building up towns.
what's
like it's,
worse if you had to choose.
I mean, on the grander scale,
It's
of
the number
universe,
sliding
it's probably
puzzles,
communism.
absolutely.
It's probably slide.
No one's
puzzles.
gone to war over number slidey
I
puzzles.
Not
would if
fucking
given
yet,
the
man. But that's
opportunity.
look.
Oh,
I mean, they're
man.
bad. They're real bad.
If I have to defend my ideals with force,
You're so ill-equipped to have this conversation.
no, I fucking hate number sliding
Yeah.
puzzles.
They're real bad. We're
Rather-
equipped
I'd
to talk
rather
about
win-
number
They're
sliding
pretty-
puzzles.
They're pretty bad.
I'd rather wait in a bread line.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna join Jeff's regime.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, like all the resource gathering is communal. Like you go out and get stuff in the world, but then you just come back and dump it into the town's
Yeah.
like collective stores. But then anybody in the town can then spend those resources on anything they want.
There's some weird shit going on
Yeah.
in the world out there.
Oh
Like,
my
those-
God.
those big Godzilla.
That's part of the charm of the
creatures.
game.
Yeah.
Is like that your little town is in the middle of this void with like these Godzilla monsters stomping through, and like flying manta rays will just sail overhead once in a while, and it's super and like. Those islands that spawn out there
Yeah.
can be anything, like a face coming out of the ground,
with
or
like
just
bombs coming out of the
so
sky.
much weird imagery in that thing.
And then you like mined inside of the
Yeah.
head, and there was some weird shit going on.
yeah,
in
you
there as
mine
well.
inside those heads and find some stuff. And
It's
It's neat.
Yeah.
it's a neat thing, but
But yeah, I need to uninstall that from my PS4 because every time I turn on the system and it's still in that most recently used apps kind of list.
Yep.
I just
Think
look
about
at it
firing
and
it
go, no, I look at it and go, man, I'm an idiot. I should not have paid the $20 for this thing.
I did as well. I did
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah?
And then Lisa really wants me
After-
to play it, and
after-
she's like, "Ooh, Tomorrow Children." I'm
was
like,
that after the quick look?
Yeah, it
Yeah?
was. I'm
Would you-
like,
oh,
honey,
could have
honey,
sent you an
honey,
invite.
Honey, no. Honey,
Of course,
no.
then you'd have to work your way up to your papers.
I didn't know that. Well, I get a jetpack too. That's
Yeah,
super cool.
that's true.
But, yeah, I didn't know about the.
But you don't
invites.
have you get the jetpack, but you don't have the license to use the jetpack.
What?
You have to buy that.
What?
Yep.
All right.
Is that why I couldn't use the jet?
Yes.
Man, what the
Okay.
Yes, they give you the weapon, and what's the other? They give you two of the licenses to start, but
Yeah.
you have to go.
the weapon and tools license?
Yes, you have to go buy the vehicle license. It's a bizarre thing.
That makes sense. Like, you got to buy a fishing rod, but then you need a license,
Yeah.
right?
Can
played it,
you,
but
can
still you can use the
bribe
fishing rod.
anybody?
Kind of. There's a
think
black
the,
market.
The idea when you are paying the Freeman dollars to bypass the crafting puzzle, it is a,
Yeah,
it is a bribe.
They describe that as a bribe.
Oh, okay.
So yes, it is proper communism.
And there is a black market where you go to buy the real shit,
Real good shit.
like the actual good items that you would actually want to use, and those cost the real money currency
Okay.
as opposed to the fake currency.
So you just buy items outright too.
Yes.
Right. So you're not just buying blueprints to make or.
Yes, you are
stuff.
buying them. You
Okay.
can buy the items outright.
But they will degrade and
Yes, they degrade very quickly.
Oh, cool.
yeah, they're
Yes.
not permanent
Also, the speed of work is very, very sluggish at the beginning.
unless you pay some real money for a better pickaxe.
Yeah, now are you interested?
No.
Okay. I wonder what they'll do with that thing over time.
Nothing.
I wonder
I
if
bet
you think
absolutely
that's,
nothing.
think
I
it
bet
is
this-
in the
this is it,
state
and
that
here
it's
you
in,
go.
and
They'll-
that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have a proper.
I just don't think it'll
free-to-play
take
launch.
off to a point
Yeah.
where it will be worth the work.
Maybe-
I
maybe not.
I don't think that thing will catch on in any
Yeah,
way, shape, or form.
Maybe not. It was reasonably well populated when we were playing it, but who knows?
There was like 9 other people in there. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when it's actually free to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool, but also not so cool.
Speaking of free-to-play console games, I played some Star Trek Online.
Oh God!
Right.
Real quickly,
real quickly, they let you link your account if you have one on their service from playing the PC version of the game. None of your stuff comes in, so it's a separate game, separate shard, all that. Or
so hang on, does that mean that you have? I mean, yes, you have to start a new character and start from level 1, but do you at least get all the things you're entitled to with that lifetime? No, nothing.
So that like what $600 you spent or whatever? Okay, it was 300. Okay,
bargain.
Yeah,
best value.
Oh, okay.
That's
so on the PC version, I get like that stipend of the real money currency and all that sort of stuff, like the benefits of buying that membership. None of that. And
I could understand making you start with a fresh character, but not giving you any of the benefits of that lifetime membership is real questionable.
At some point, they probably needed to get away from those lifetime members and say like, no, we need everyone paying because this thing has to
lifetime
stay afloat. For the PC version of the game.
How many of those could there be, though?
Who knows?
Is lifetime an option for
they brought them back
PS1
or
PS4 and Xbox One?
I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't think
you
so.
Like buy it again?
Yeah, like can you buy it on console?
They seem to only offer that stuff like as like founder stuff, like pre-release.
Yeah,
I
mean, I think they brought it back for some length of time.
This was back in the days when it had a $15. It had a monthly fee.
Yeah.
It was World of Warcraft style at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, so it does not on console?
No, it went free to It went free on PC years ago.
Yeah, gotcha.
But he bought that like when it first came out, when it was like, well, you're already going to be paying however much a year.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for this and forget long enough to probably spend most of those $300. Right. So just fucking hit me now and it's fine.
It was like what $180 a year to play that thing when it first came out or something. But anyway, all right. There's a hell of a lot of news to discuss, so we need to get right into it here before this podcast becomes 5 hours long.
Let's do it. 5 hours. Lock me in here. Lock the door. Turn off the lights.
Let's talk about news. PlayStation 4 Pro is the name of the new PlayStation 4.
Fuck yeah, dog. I'm sick of being a neo-bee.
Fucking PlayStation 4 amateur.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 casual.
I done graduated.
I don't.
This professional PlayStation 4.
Professional grade.
E-PlayStation.
Comes with extra stripe. Is very good deal.
E-games.
I mean, literally, there are 2 stripes on it now.
It looks like a Big Mac.
Kinda, yeah.
Whatever.
Requisite.
It looks all right.
Requisite 2 PS4s taped together joke.
More like 1.5.
Yeah, kind of.
In every way.
I don't love that name.
No, I don't think it's a great name either. I think it's confusing with like PlayStation Plus. I think they have another P term. I think it
fits in with a lot of other like electronics stuff, but at the same time, I don't think that we're getting an actual like professional experience.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I could go either way on that stuff. I mean,
I think the very idea of a professional video game console is dumb.
I mean,
a professional's video game console is a debug.
I'm sure they're taking
dev kit.
True.
They're obviously taking cues from like the Xbox One Elite controller and like pro level like Call of Duty type shit. Totally. It's just like this is where like
iPad Pro
serious players go to play or whatever. But
serious 4K TV owners go to see some up-res stuff. Yeah,
I thought it was even money that it would just be called the PlayStation 4K. I don't know. Seemed like that might work.
I think leaning into the 4K stuff like would really underscore. Like they really leave people who don't own those TVs out in the cold if they hang their entire hat on that.
That immediately tells people without a 4K TV not to buy one.
Instead, you had to watch that whole press conference in order to learn that if you don't have a 4K TV, you probably shouldn't buy one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like some information is coming out from developers now about what they're going to be doing with the power.
Yeah, what is it like? Tomb Raider's going to have
the Tomb Raider situation is nuts. So
that is kind of cool.
That game's coming out like a month before the Pro, but God, I would need like a table to really explain everything it's doing. I mean, I think they've only got one 4K mode, but if you're on a 1080 TV on a Pro, you have an option between locked 30 frames a second with like as many shaders as they can pile on there, or a different mode that's like 45 to 60 with less effects.
Huh.
Like that's how they were describing it. Like that stuff is nuts.
And then the 4K mode will still only do 30 frames?
I don't know if they said.
I'm
I don't know if you have a choice on that one.
It's super interesting that they've got like that graphics quality slider in there, but man, that just
it's a weird scenario for a console game.
Yeah. I mean, we are through the looking glass on this stuff now.
Kind of.
Like it's a really weird concept. There was some stuff out from Andy House where he was saying like, hey, at this point in the cycle, we traditionally see people who want more power move to the PC, so we wanted to have an option for them, which I believe was a quote out of Andy House.
Okay.
Which is just like, well, then why isn't this console more powerful than it is? Like, it doesn't seem like it's that dramatic of a leap. I mean, like they'll get there, they'll get the resolution out of it, and they'll scale up the rest of the way. It'll do stuff, right? But this doesn't seem like if you truly care about power, this still doesn't seem like enough. I don't know.
No.
Well,
I don't know who this is for, other than like the TV aficionado who bought that 4K TV and is like, I want stuff to look at on my fancy new TV, and there isn't enough content out, so I'm going to buy this console. And I think that makes total sense.
I think so too.
And I think that's an audience that does exist in some quantity.
That person will not be playing 4K Blu-rays on that fancy TV.
Then
though,
you have that,
That's still crazy.
which
whole different conversation.
okay, I get it, right? Like fuck discs. Like who fucking cares?
No, though.
But
No,
okay,
no, no.
but
You wanna watch video in 4K,
So
that's-
yes, exactly. Fuck discs. They're a pain in the ass. Who bought Blu-rays? Fuck him. Dan did. He's crazy. He's getting rid. He's gonna get rid of them when he moves anyway, and then
that's
buy them
true.
all back because he's out of his mind.
That's probably true.
like, yeah, Netflix is awesome. It's very convenient. All the streaming services are very convenient, and they got out there and said like, oh, there'll be a 4K Netflix, there'll be a 4K YouTube. Like, yeah, streaming.
Yeah.
Like at streaming bit rates.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
When you go through the hassle of spending thousands of dollars on your fancy fucking HDR 4K TV, and then go and buy a brand new like device, you're also gonna be the person who says, well, I'm gonna go buy this like way higher bitrate 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray.
Yep.
Right.
Even if you only buy like 2 or 3 of those before you go, you know what, fuck it, it's on Netflix, it's just way easier to do that, you're still gonna, there's still that perception of value. You still would want the option to do that.
Especially on a product that says Pro on it.
So I get why they would cut that corner, because I think the reality of it is like, will ultimately be, oh, who cares? But like, to cut that corner right now out of the gate when people are still like trying to figure out why they would even want a 4K TV in the first place is fucking crazy. They're so all over the place with this shit, man.
I mean,
it is a mess.
I mean, we should say up front, like, they got the price right. Like, it's very commendable they brought that thing in at $3.99. Like, that, if it had been $1 more than that, I would have looked at that thing and said,
I don't think
fuck
that's
you.
commendable. I think that's appropriate for what they're offering.
It is, but they could have easily pushed this thing to $450 or $500 and said, like, it's the premium product.
And
you know,
they
like,
could have easily made a more powerful, more capable system too.
Yeah, but,
like, who is this for?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
the streaming stuff doesn't cut it with 4K. Like, the bandwidth requirements are so nuts, and there are so many people that still don't have that kind of bandwidth.
And we live in a time when there are still like that looming
Caps
threat
and
of bandwidth
stuff.
caps,
Yeah.
and those exist in some parts of the world, and
and
on
top of
the
that,
US, it hasn't been too harsh. Comcast always threatens, but they never really quite roll it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, 4K streaming bit rates are nowhere near what the discs are. Like, it's a way bigger gulf than like 1080 Blu-rays versus 1080 streaming. Like,
Yeah,
it's a bad situation right
We
now.
can't all have rad internet.
Yeah.
It's
It's weird.
It seems
It's a
like a
weird
half
thing.
step in all the ways
Yeah.
that count,
Yeah.
and like that's just like, again, like, why would you? I don't know. Like, I just feel like they didn't paint the picture of why this benefits a wide audience. And you have some stories like the Tomb Raider story where they're like, hey, you're going to be able to do this, and a few other kind of cases like that. But at the top level, Sony on stage pitching you its new thing, it just seemed all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's some games and we're streaming this thing out, and we're not going to get out in front of it and say like, hey, obviously you're watching a stream. It's not.
Yeah,
gonna look
like
as good.
I talked for him in that respect, because it's impossible to show that thing
Totally,
off on a
totally.
stream, like completely impossible.
But yeah, we talked to Vinny and Alex afterwards, and they saw it in person. They said,
Vinny was very enthusiastic about what that stuff
and
looked like in
that's
person.
saying something.
I've talked to multiple people who saw, Call of Duty and stuff like that running in 4K, and they were just like, it looks significantly better.
that's cool.
But then again, that's like, you need to invest in a new TV for that to matter.
Right,
And
right.
That is a way bigger ask than just a new $3.99
And at some
PlayStation.
point, I think it'll make sense for everyone to have a 4K TV. There'll be enough content out there, like, the same way that like HD TVs probably didn't make a ton of sense out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like, they'll get there. But right now, today, Like, if you're looking to invest a fucking boatload of money into new display tech and a new gaming system to drive all that stuff, all they're doing is making a bigger and bigger case for the PC. Right?
I guess so.
I mean, unless you care so dramatically about Sony's ecosystem or Sony's games, which keep getting pushed back, like, what are you actually getting?
I mean, convenience is still the biggest selling point they have, right?
You're right.
But again, like, that gets into this territory of like, well, now I have to make decisions when I play Tomb Raider about how I want it to look. You know, I can't just put the disc in and
that's starting to go away.
Yeah.
And the convenience thing, I think that's one that I think a lot of the console manufacturers try to cling to, even as owning a PC has become easier and easier as time goes on. It's not as easy as a console. I mean, let's not be crazy, but like, it's so much easier than it was even 5 years ago, 10 years. You know, like
Dan can do it.
Like,
I didn't do it.
Well, to be fair, that PC fell in his lap.
Yeah, that was built for me.
That's
I
true.
didn't do any of
But
that.
that's the thing, is you can go to a website and click some buttons and a PC will fall into your lap for a $1,500 or something like that too. And it's like, at some point, it's like, if you really care about the power that much,
Totally.
if you're the type of enthusiast that would be swayed by a pro version of a console, then you're probably the sort of person that would go like, you know what, I'm actually just gonna hold out for a little while, save up the money, and do this instead of this like console half step. Like, you know, what's the next PlayStation 4 in 3 more years? You know, what do they upgrade it again? They do PlayStation 5? Like, you know, like,
that's the bigger question. Like, what is the rolling?
What is Microsoft's approach end up meaning for all this?
How is this
like,
going to go over the long term?
I think they did an okay job with messaging in that they did describe it as kind of like a half step. Like, not everybody is going to need this. And my fear was that, you know, they're going to be like, this is the newest best thing. Like, you're going to need to get one of these in order to experience these games. But they kept it kind of, you know, generic and stuff. That not a lot of mention of specs or anything like that. To certainly, you know, because the Scorpio is going to be, you know, considerably powerful, more powerful, I guess. So I think they did an okay job.
I could
unveiling that, but at the same time, it definitely left someone like me going, "What the fuck do I need this?"
I mean, even in the portion of the show where they were saying,
they didn't tell
like,
me that I needed it.
Like, even when they were like, "Here's what you'll get if you're still on an old 1080 TV," like all they had were some screenshots with a little bit of slider action going on, and you know, like a little more profound, like, before and after stuff would have been really appreciated.
It's hard to do that on a stream, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess
like,
well, but in these cases, they were like, look, there's more grass here now and stuff like that. Like, things like that play pretty well on a stream, and they didn't bring that much of that.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you know, they kind of put in the thing of like, hey, some VR stuff will run better.
Yeah. And that one is extra weird. Well, it is, but that one's extra weird because VR has a very profound baseline where it's like, if you're below this, people are going to get sick.
Right.
Like, you're going to have headaches and nausea.
But I think then it just becomes like effects and stuff like that. It's less about like stability of frame rate and more about like, hey, okay, we're going to be able to turn on some more shit.
What about like the internal like headset resolution? I thought I heard them mention something.
No,
about
that's the same. I
thought
they explicitly said that would not change.
Good. Okay. Well, not good. I would like a higher resolution one, but
that's a hardware thing. You know? They don't worry, get the PlayStation VR Pro.
Okay.
And that'll be pretty cool.
I'll get that.
They put out, the PlayStation blog put out like a nice long FAQ, which is kind of addressing every question you could have about this thing, but there's really not a whole lot of information that hadn't leaked already at this point, besides the Blu-ray stuff, and that might be it. I don't think there were a lot of other revelations out of this thing about how this is going to work.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, like, we're entering messier times. Like, you mentioned Scorpio, but I don't think that's, I mean, it'll be a more powerful console, even more powerful. Like, how much do they charge for that thing with the with as much as they keep talking about power, like, how much closer does that get in price to a PC?
Yeah, we don't
Microsoft has taken the extra step of putting its own first party stuff out on PC. Like, if anything, Microsoft is talking people out of buying Xbox hardware left and right now.
Maybe, yeah.
Of just like, hey, you know, if you, especially like now that you look at ReCore and stuff like that and just go like, man, I don't want to play this on the Xbox One. Like, maybe Scorpio will close that gap, but like by then, like, you know, like PC stuff will be even cheaper. You know, It's a fucking mess.
There's
It's
still
a
that
fucking mess.
baseline consumer that it just wants to go to a Best Buy and buy
Totally.
a console.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
those people exist.
They exist in droves,
in
large
and
quantities.
they're driving
Very
the console
large
business right now.
quantities.
Yeah.
A lot of them also haven't upgraded yet
Yep.
from the previous generation of consoles. So like the
Yeah.
Slim. Of
I know
PS4
people who have been holding out on PS4, and they're just like, well, if it's only an extra $100, I might as well just get the faster new one.
Yeah, if anything, like that's the strategy appears to be. I mean, you could see part of their strategy being like, well, we're going to get people in the door with this cheaper PS4, but they're going to walk into the store and go like, you know what? Actually, if I'm going to buy one, I might as well just get the one that's better.
Yeah.
And go that route. Maybe Sony doesn't actually care which one you buy as long as you're buying games, right? If they just get you in the platinum.
I mean, that's where the money. That's where the money is made.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. Everything just seems so messy right now.
It's getting a little muddled, out there for sure.
That I just, yeah, there are tons of consumers that do want that convenience, but I think when you make arguments based on, hey, this could be more powerful, you're then starting to talk to a more experienced crowd of people that I think would be
I think those people are listening,
Yeah.
but they're kind of turning a blind eye. Like, they don't really care. Like, we're talking about it right now. Like, we don't really need this. But, to those base level consumers, it's like, oh, for $100 more, I can get, oh, man.
Yeah, for
I'm
those
gonna get
people that are getting it for
I'm
the
gonna
first
get that
time,
4K. Yeah,
that'll be sensible. But I think in terms of like, if you're looking to spend some upgrade money,
I mean, it depends on if it's worth it to you. Like, I am sitting here thinking about it, and like I'm leaning towards probably getting one.
Well, I'll definitely get one. Yeah, I mean, but we buy everything. We're weirdos.
That's the thing. It's like, but
we
there are
kinda have to have
people-
every platform and stuff.
But there are people that want to have just the best version of every hardware generation out there. So if I can sell my PlayStation 4 and spend another couple $100 and get the Pro, and then I've got some more bushes in the occasional game or whatever, or some new options in a Tomb Raider or something, then yeah, I'll do it, even though I do play most of my stuff on PC.
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume that's why you bought that S, right? Like, it's barely better, but it is better, so you just...
It's better, it's smaller, and all told, it cost me like $100 more or whatever, so yeah, of course.
Or are you selling your old one?
Oh, I did that before I even got the S, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that when you open the floor to a lot of those upgrade conversations, you start to get people thinking more and more about like, well, if I'm gonna be forced to do this upgrade dance, why don't I do it on the platform where that's actually gonna make a huge difference?
Those are very smart.
And you can
people.
still play first party Microsoft stuff.
Yeah,
there.
totally.
Like that is one area where Sony is kind of left out in the cold. Where like, and if they put out more first party games, it would matter more, I guess. But
there are plenty of people that aren't really well versed in like PC stuff. Like if I wanted to buy,
they shouldn't be buying the new versions of these consoles.
Well, but like I don't know how to. If I bought a 1080 and I wanted to put it in there next to my 980, I don't know how to do that.
Well, you wouldn't put it in there next to your 980.
Well, can't you put in like two? Like there's something
They have to be
like
the same card.
Oh, they have to be okay.
You
Well,
can't SLI different cards.
if I wanted to upgrade to a 1080 or whatever and take out my 980, I wouldn't know the first thing about what to do. But I can spend another $100 or whatever and get a PS4.
I want another $100, but like that's
you can pay me $100 to install it for you.
I'm not talking about people that are like getting into the platform for the first time. I'm talking about people that are existing owners that would then when you talk about like, oh, we see people mid-generation start to move to the PC because that's where the power is, so we're offering an alternative. I think that's a bad alternative. You're
talking about people that already have PS4s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the PS4 Pro is a bad alternative to just saying fuck it and get a PC.
Sure. Okay. In that sense, I can see where you're coming from. Like new customers, I would
absolutely
just
like
thing.
that makes sense. Like yes, if you just get a console, it makes sense. If you just want to get in the door and play some video games, like totally, it's the easiest way to do it. They're fine. But if you view yourself as some kind of connoisseur of this stuff, someone who might be like, oh, this is a pro console.
In terms of
what
like
the
PC
fuck are you
specs,
doing?
though, like there's a big difference between running something at 1080 60 and like moving up to like 4K.
Oh yeah,
totally.
That's like a huge.
And
huge
this thing is
actually
nowhere
building
near.
a 4K ready PC is like you shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
even a 1080 can barely do 4K at 60
yeah.
in some games right now. Like that hasn't really happened yet. But it seems like Sony made the right bet here, which is like this thing will run at higher than 1080, but still way below 4K, and then they have like a good upsampling option.
Yeah,
that people seem to think looks very.
I
good.
mean, there will be benefits for people that have the right television and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And as someone who was already kind of thinking about getting a 4K TV next year, like they are not without attraction. But at the same time, like I just look at it and go like, man, but they're only with attraction to me because I'm a fucking weirdo. And I already have a powerful PC and I'm in the process of getting another one.
Sure.
You know, of upgrading that. So I just think it's real weird times for the hardware business. And
I'm certainly not going to go out and buy a 4K TV for my PlayStation Pro experience.
I mean,
no.
like,
but conversely,
if
I
have a 4K
I don't-
TV. It's like $400. Okay.
At the same time, I don't know that I'm going to go get a Pro immediately
Yeah.
without having a 4K TV.
Yeah.
Like, I might be good with my regular PS4 for
going
another
through that
6
Xbox
months
Play
or
Anywhere
something.
process and seeing how relatively smooth it was that moment of just like, man,
That was kind of eye-opening for me.
consoles,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Cool.
Kind
What
of.
are we
Encouraging.
doing?
That's encouraging.
Again, ReCore was an edge case where the Xbox version is bad. Like, I'm sure that Forza and like Gears 4 will be fine on the Xbox.
Yeah,
they will be way
they will-
finer.
exactly. I mean, that's I
on
think
PC.
that's the traditional like course, right? Is
Yeah.
the PC version is going to just have more upward capability. You know, that's sensible.
Mhm.
And I already have a PC that's more powerful than an Xbox One, so you know, like I still want to play those games. Like I want to play more Forza Horizon.
Yeah, with
And I would love to play it on a PC and do all that, you know, like all that sort of stuff. And
with the Play Anywhere stuff in place, the number of games you're missing by going PC only is down to like single digits a year. Well, when you factor in downloadables on the PS4, there's a good number of Sony first-party games that come out, some of which are quite cool.
Yeah.
You are going to be missing some good stuff, but it's not that much stuff.
right, yeah, and it's weird. It's really weird. I think there are also some cases to be made for like, oh well, like let's say Titanfall or Call of Duty or stuff like that. Like those are games that are obviously like look better on a PC, but then you're playing with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not you don't have to.
Yeah.
But if you're going to play
competitively.
competitively, like you're at a disadvantage on a controller. So I could see myself even being like, you know what, I'm actually going to play Titanfall, Call of Duty on a console.
There do end up
where
being
there
those
is
cases.
no mouse and keyboard because that's a more level playing field.
And some of those cases are super regrettable, like Batman Arkham Knight comes to mind of like, if you actually wanted to play that game at launch, you kind of had to play it on a console.
Yeah, totally. There will still be fucking awful PC ports. It'll happen.
There are
you know?
cases like that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a fucking fascinating time.
Yeah.
Like software is just like everywhere and getting better, and it's exciting, and there's a ton of great games. But I feel like the story of like where you play games and how you play them and all that sort of stuff is just like really fucking wild.
It's pretty nuts, right?
You know,
now.
Nintendo's going to come out and announce their stuff, and then it's just going to be even, you know, like, when we talk about fucking news, man. Miyamoto walked out on stage at a fucking Apple press conference.
Don't worry, that's coming. I guess that's all. Yeah, I guess that's about all there is to say about the Pro right now. It's out on November 10th.
Yeah.
We'll have more to say once we see it in person and stuff.
When is VR?
October
13th.
of October.
Yeah.
October 13th.
Yeah.
So then a month after.
A lot of stuff coming out from Sony in a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
Oh right, those are we were just like saying like, oh, what the fuck other first party games are there? There are some first party VR games.
Oh sure, that's
yeah.
that is where
Of course
a lot of their focus is on that stuff. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that was hardly the only thing that happened on Wednesday, and perhaps not even nearly the most profound thing.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. Dan was streaming the Apple event
Mm-hmm.
on his laptop. Were we talking to somebody? Somebody had walked up and was talking to
Mary
us.
had just walked
Yeah,
up.
we were talking to Mary with our backs kind of swiveled toward the Apple thing. I heard like the 1-up sound, like the Mario 1-up sound, and I assumed it was like your
Like a
text
ringtone
message
or
tone
something,
or
yeah.
something. And then we turn around and there's fucking Miyamoto walking out on the Apple stage, and it was just like fall out of your chair
So
moment.
I was at home sick, and I was watching the Apple thing, and you could tell it was going. There was like this moment about 10 seconds before they said the words Nintendo. And I was like, oh wait, fuck! Like you could see it building.
Was your
to that.
medication kicking in?
was it
Yeah,
just like the language they were using?
It was
like,
just like, you know,
dropping-
and we're proud to, you know, it was just like this type of like they were talking about games, and there's one name that, and you're like, holy shit, they're doing it, and then it totally happened.
Yeah,
and
yeah, dude.
and they walked Miyamoto out there to introduce a non-endless runner.
Yeah, okay, fine. I guess it's not endless.
That was a
No,
little
it is
deflating,
not
but-
endless.
I mean,
but it's a runner.
We don't know how many levels are in it. There could be infinite levels that are generated. It could be
They showed
endless
that
in
world
that
map.
sense. But but yeah,
They showed like a world
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Here we go. Super Mario Run Maker.
yeah,
All
sure. I
Put
don't
that
know.
out.
That'd be
Companion
more
app.
if it had sharing stuff. That'd be more interesting than Mario Maker 3DS.
Yeah. Super Mario Run is the name of the game. It's coming out on iOS first. Sounds like Android will follow at some time later.
December. Is when that's supposed to be coming out.
Free to start. You can download it and play a little bit.
Right,
sounds
but
like.
it
there's
is
a single unlock price. There's
Yeah.
no microtransactions. They didn't say how much it would be, did they?
I don't think
so, but I like how they stress that. Like, you know, we're never going to ask you for more money after that initial purchase.
Yes, it is just
awesome.
Pay the price, the unlock cost.
But they,
they
they didn't go all the way and just charge for it out of the gate because they know that that's how the App Store works.
Yes.
It's probably best of both worlds.
It's
just
a
like,
smart way to split the difference there.
Put this out for free, but when you buy it, you will buy it with a Nintendo-like solution.
I fucking struggle to get excited about any kind of runner, but like looking at that thing, I was like, all right, this is probably the closest you could get to making me want to play something like that.
I will be interested to play it.
It looks good.
You know, they've got mechanics in there for like, you can stop on something and kind of
turn around.
It looks like it's tap to jump, but he'll run. But yeah, there'll be turnarounds and like things in the environment that'll make him kind of start running the other way or interact with the environment in different ways.
Yeah.
It's like the new Super Mario Brothers tile set, so it's got all the fucking wahs in there and shit.
I mean, did you hear them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I want to say I have to go back and watch the footage, but I'm pretty sure they stopped to dance. And no, you know what? I played some new Super Mario Brothers DS recently and reminded myself as to why that game was A, great, and B, a bummer. That game is still more great than bummer.
That first one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they should do this. This is the thing that they have been building up to for months and months.
Sure.
With all their partnerships with
Is
DNA.
Is DNA involved in this? I can't.
I would assume on some
remember.
level, but
I don't think they mentioned them at all during
they
the
did.
conference.
Did they say all the development is happening at Nintendo?
I don't actually know.
Maybe EAD or whatever.
But I think DNA is primarily like building the network and maybe Nintendo knows how to make video games, right?
Yeah.
You'd almost envision DNA being in there as more of an advisory capacity about like, hey, here's how we're going to build the network solution around your game.
Yeah, they've already got their
here's how we're
platform
gonna,
and all that stuff.
And here's how we're going to monetize, like almost like that. But I don't know. That's how I would think it would be structured, but I don't actually know.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, okay, Miitomo came out. Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing are announced.
Yeah.
They're next year now, right?
Yeah.
I was watching a YouTube video that broke down like Nintendo's mobile strategy that happened to post like a week or two before this event.
Yeah.
That referred to like they had mentioned in the past like a total of 5 mobile projects in the works. And I wonder if this is one of those remaining 2 or if this is totally external to their DNA stuff.
I would assume that this would be right in there with.
I would have to assume this is one of those last 2
totally.
remaining projects that they had mentioned.
Yeah. Next up, Ice Climber as a constant vertical jumper. Like it's just
God.
Okay.
infinite Ice Climber.
Doodle jump.
Yeah. Totally do that.
They've got some iMessage stickers, I understand.
Yeah, I downloaded those. iOS 10's out today.
Okay.
So they've redesigned the text messaging stuff in iOS 10. You have an Android phone. So that's where you send texts.
Yeah,
and,
mine does that.
Yeah, so this is, but like yours, also it has like instead of SMS, it'll go over the internet, and you don't have to pay text message charges or whatever.
Yeah, mine does that.
Yeah, and the messages can be more robust. And now they have added an app store within the Messages app, which is actually a pain in the ass to get to. And in there, you can now get sticker packs that are just custom emoji to fucking slap all over your text messages and shit. So it'll be like Mario hanging off the word bubble, leaning on it, and Pac-Man eating the word bubble that your message is coming out of.
Does your recipient need to have the same pack?
They need to be. I think they need to be running iOS 10.
Right.
So they don't have to have bought the sticker pack to see that stuff.
Yeah. Well, all the sticker packs I've seen are free. The Nintendo thing is free. It's not,
okay.
The Pac-Man one was free. It's not. That's
okay.
People are selling them, I'm sure, but the ones I've seen have not been for money.
So my phone is now line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Into it.
And it's, I don't know. I have not been able to use it because I've been running iOS 10 for months, but no one else is. So I've been looking at it and going like, this seems dumb, but I haven't been able to try it either. And I don't know if I care.
I saw some like Pootie Pie stickers out there as well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. I don't have those.
You should get them.
I'm okay with that.
You should get them.
I'm okay
You should
with
get
that.
you get an iPhone. Come on.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Everybody's
You
doing
can
it.
buy mine.
How much?
600.
Ha! Fuck no.
That's the going price.
Fuck no. Where?
the
Then
going price.
On eBay.
Then
You
sell
search
it
by
on
soul-
eBay.
Yeah. I want to give him a chance to get in before the general public. You know, he's a friend.
oh, thank you. Please stop.
Friend price is $600.
Get in on that hot.
I'm throwing in a charge case.
A charge case.
Yeah, it's a case
Did you get
that
all that-
charges it.
Did you get all that gunk off the back of your phone that you were showing me?
Not really. That was weird residue from the previous
Nice.
case.
Nice.
I'll bump it off 20 if you want it, Brad.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets a better price.
I'll give you 40 off.
Oh shit.
560.
No, not happening.
Could use a second iPhone 6.
Yeah.
That's kind of all there is to say about this right now. Like you said, out in December.
They also took the extreme step of putting it up front page of the App Store, even though it's not out yet.
Oh yeah, I saw you can
kinda
like
weird.
set
You
it
can-
to notify you when it's out.
And it's like it got like prime fucking placement and all this stuff in the App Store. I'm sure that's why it's launching first on iOS and also the unprecedented partnership.
Yes.
So wait a second. When is this out?
December.
December.
Yeah.
And they're announcing it now and
Yeah.
prominently displaying it on the Apple Store.
Oh,
Oh,
not
man.
far away.
It was
December
like
will
it
be
was
here
like
before
top
you know
item
it.
on the carousel. The App
Wow.
Store was red, and like it was like in the first like get up new games.
Yeah.
Like it was right there, but then you go in there and instead of like download, it just says notify.
God damn it.
So
And
excited
so-
to be pre-ordering iOS games.
Yeah, right. Free iOS game.
Yeah. That's fair.
It would have been fantastic if it was just like download now.
Totally right.
Oh, man.
That's yes.
Yes, that would have been
Months
fucking
from now,
incredible.
But they did launch iOS 10 with the Mario sticker pack, so there is kind of
Oh.
a bone to throw to.
Cool.
yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
I mean, maybe get an iPhone, then you can enjoy these fucking hot
Sticker packs?
sticks, man.
True.
What if you guys send me a
Why don't
sticker?
you just be like all your friends?
in my SMS.
I just think you won't
messages?
see it the same way as.
Then you're gonna look like a.
I mean, you can't
fool.
send them through SMS, can you?
No, they won't go through
yeah.
SMS. I think it's just through the iMessage. Like
Yeah.
it's got to be blue.
I won't pick up on the context of. Oh man,
Yeah,
maybe I
you're
should.
gonna be lost. Exactly.
Yeah.
Think
My
of all
God.
the
In order to
context. you can
communicate-
Nonverbal
effectively-
communication is very big in 2016.
Throw
So
your
you really
phone in
gotta-
the goddamn garbage. Headphone jacks
mean,
are
don't-
for assholes.
Don't those things fucking explode anyway, right? Like you might as well just toss it before it.
Not
before it
mine
goes on
not
you.
my note.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I mean, honestly, the best thing you can say about this thing is it's way more of a video game than Miitomo was.
Yeah.
No,
You know?
yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
at least it's like an example of like, okay, they're going to make some real games.
I still
even
want
if it's a
Animal
runner.
Crossing. I still want a good ass Animal
Yeah,
Crossing
yes.
for iOS.
Animal
Until I
Crossing-
see what Animal Crossing is, I'm not going to get excited.
Yeah, it could be
about
Happy Home Designer.
Yeah,
it could be
totally.
something where you're just like, oh, fuck this. Like,
Yep.
this is
It-
totally not what I
But
want.
Animal Crossing is absolutely the Nintendo property that's the most suited to.
It's the thing you want to return to every day.
what mobile
the-
games are like.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes total sense.
Yeah.
You want notifications in that case of like, hey, it's fucking New Year's Eve. Come get your fucking fireworks hat.
Hey, it's that penguin's birthday. Go to his party.
You don't have to dig out your 3DS and charge it just to get the seasonal thing. You
Totally.
just, oh man, that's exciting.
And then what if it links to an NX version of Animal Crossing?
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
That then you could take on the go as well. Street passing to anyway. What they should do is use all this Bluetooth LE stuff. No, they shouldn't. It just drains batteries. But like, if you really wanted to do Animal Crossing, you would. If Nintendo really wanted to do Nintendo-like things on the phone, they would use Bluetooth LE to build Street Pass stuff.
Oh yeah, like that's the thing they used for that pickpocketing game
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if they could ever get that in at the system level. I don't know that Apple would allow stuff like that.
No, I mean that stuff like that. That
just
app
runs in
like,
the
does
app.
It. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, that stuff sort of works. I mean, they're allowing more integration into Siri. Like Apple is starting to let more third parties use different parts of the OS.
Yeah.
You know, they're still going to be their closed thing because that makes sense and for them and all that. But yeah, I don't know.
The insane ideological purity of Steve Jobs is like slowly eroding over the years.
It really is.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
really.
I totally noticed that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
don't forget that. Like he was the guy who didn't want the iPhone to have an app store
right
because everything
yeah.
on the iPhone was perfect as it was. You know, like they've
Yeah.
really moved away from those philosophies over time. But
I'm surprised there's no controller. Like, you know, you hear all the stories about developers like actually seeing Apple's fucking iPhone controller for games and all this other stuff, and like, oh yeah, we've got one. And like you hear stuff like that floating around, but they never move forward with it.
yeah.
Like
They
an
never
official
actually-
controller.
yeah.
Because
Oh
there's
yeah,
tons
yeah.
of-
There's
Yeah.
It seems like the thing that they must have prototyped multiple times by
Yeah.
now. And I get why you wouldn't do it because who the fuck wants to carry around a controller with their phone?
Yep.
But man,
They got that Apple TV thing.
They do.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was like a half step in that direction.
yeah. And obviously, you could just Bluetooth a controller to it anytime.
Yeah, there's a lot of
and,
options.
You know,
for that.
do that stuff now. But like an official controller would go a long
Something
way to just be like,
standardized,
hey,
yeah.
here's this standard thing that's going to pave the way for games that support this. Though I don't know. Then you're like, well, now my phone needs a kickstand so I can stand it up and play whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be the Nintendo thing that would be cool, right? Is the like virtual console comes to iOS sort of thing.
I want a case that you can slide down and have the controller underneath. That would be kind of.
You want a Sony Xperia?
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to play Crash Bandicoot on your phone?
Can I?
There's a device for you.
You want
Really?
PSP Go?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying.
I want it back. I want it back. I was just holding my PSP Go.
You want a sidekick? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do some side talking.
I would love. Yeah. That
Sidekick was cool.
keyboards are neat.
Yeah.
Turns out they're really good for typing while you're not looking.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed.
Someone did a slide case for like iOS
Oh,
that would
weird.
like plug in and it would kind of slide a keyboard out.
Oh.
And it was like kind of janky at the system level or something like that, but it was still
I do miss a good tactile
yeah.
keyboard.
Let me tell you about the taptic feedback engine.
Really? Okay, I'm listening.
Your phone's going to shake when you push buttons on it that aren't really buttons.
Dang.
Yeah.
Mine does that. See?
Does it have a taptic feedback engine? TM?
I
don't know
in a
if it's-
circle.
Is my new phone going to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
It will?
Yes,
Cool.
the home button does not click in anymore.
Yeah.
At all?
No.
It just
That's
it
not like
feels
one
like it
tier?
does. It feels like it does
Because it'll vibrate when you
it's got
hit
some
it.
rumble in it when you touch it that makes it feel like you're pushing it in.
I'll say I really do like the real buttons on the Xbox One S for the eject and for the
yes.
power. That's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this iPhone's going to be like
The opposite of that.
When you look at like fucking all the bullshit capacitive buttons that have broken over the years.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like now the iPhone is just one big one of those.
They're getting there. I mean, the rumor about next year is it's fucking nothing but screen.
Yeah.
Like that's the big
I could
overhaul that's gonna.
I could throw down with that too.
Yeah,
I don't
see
know.
how it
like,
goes.
I bought one of the, I'm getting one of these new iPhones because I wanted a bigger screen.
Yeah,
I was just like, I wanted one for a while. It happened to line up with them announcing the new phone.
going with the Duke.
And I was like, yeah, totally. And I was like, 256 megs actually solves a lot of my music storage problems that I still have to deal with my iPod Classic that now does not hold a battery charge. So
I just put in like an SD card and I got lots of space.
totally, yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be cool too.
It is cool.
Yeah, but there's just enough stuff about Android that
I got a stylus.
I don't want to use it as my day-to-day
I use
thing.
this as my communication device.
Yeah.
I write things sometimes. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like my phone.
Phones are cool.
No, they're
Everybody's got their favorites.
super fucking not.
I still like a good phone.
They should make one again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy one, Brad?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
It's not that they need to make better phones. It's that we need to come up with new fun things to do on phones because I feel like we're tapped out there.
I actually caught myself saying, man, it's so nice to be able to like order food on my phone and not mean like calling. Like I used an app and I was so impressed with that.
Yeah.
But I caught myself saying that because I don't call anybody. I don't talk to anybody. if
Yeah,
I don't have to.
when I canceled my Comcast over the weekend, I did a web chat.
Yeah. Seriously.
It was nice. Didn't have to interact with anybody.
And man, I hate calling for takeout. Like I really do. Like trying to transcribe your order. It's tough. I want drop down menus. I put in my credit card number and say, hey, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Let us all seek to eliminate human interaction from society.
That's going to be the stuff that
And I'll
like
send my pootie pie emoji to let them know that it's like
that you mean business.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like that's the stuff that's going to like destroy wide swaths of like society.
Yep.
And create the haves and have-nots problem like times 1,000 is like what happens when you walk into a McDonald's and they finally do just have touch screens.
Cool.
And there are no humans taking orders. That's very convenient because it
great.
means that like no one's going to ever mishear you saying no pickles ever again.
Yep.
But all those people will be out of work, and what do? We're not at our Star Trek-like future yet where everyone is just communist and works for the fucking betterment of mankind.
We're working towards it.
People have to
We're
eat.
almost there.
Again, this podcast is ill-equipped.
Play the Tomorrow Children and then get back to... No.
We got a lot more news to cover. Let's bang through the rest of these headlines. Warcraft Adventures, Lord of the Clans. Does that ring a bell for anybody?
Sure.
I know what that is. You know what that is. You don't know what that is. You. Blizzard was making a point-and-click adventure game. God,
In the 90s.
18 years ago now? I think. I don't have the date in front of me, but yeah, it was like mid to late 90s.
Like
They were
97, 98, somewhere
like
around there.
literally coming off of the tail end of like the King's Quest era,
Okay.
like the
So
2D.
Straight up point
Like the
and click, like a
LucasArts
scum engine.
yeah, like that stuff.
Okay.
They were getting into that market. The game was almost done. Like it had been shown at trade shows.
Right.
It was in magazines all over the place, and then all of a sudden they just killed it.
How did I miss that? Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was, and it was going to be like a prequel to Warcraft 3. Like Thrall was the main character who ended up being one of the main characters in 3, and he's in WoW and blah blah blah. It was kind of a big deal back then.
It was.
Like it was a huge deal. It was like, holy shit, Blizzard made a game and they were practically done with it, and then they just canceled it.
It was like not quite the StarCraft Ghost story, which I think was bigger because that just seemed like a bigger project.
And also that thing seemed to be very troubled, whereas like this thing, like I said, they kept talking like it was about done, and like you can find quotes out there saying like, yeah, we like the market changed and we didn't think that it was.
But they invested all that time. And,
yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Anyway,
and they never put it back out. It always seemed like as Blizzard kind of found their fortune, it always seemed like the sort of thing that like if it was most of the way done, that someone would just dust it off and put it out as like, hey, it's going to come with BlizzCon this year.
Right.
Buy the e-ticket and get this. Or,
So maybe there was a quality concern there. But now we can, well, whoever is interested could make that determination for themselves because somebody has leaked the game.
What?
Like
out of Russia, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It looks like it came out of Russia. I believe there was like a Russian animation studio involved with this or something. Like there was animation, I think, that was outsourced for this thing. It was all hand animated, and it's out. Like the basically almost completed version of the game is just out there.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
I want to say some very early build of it had gotten out years ago.
That might be true.
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah. But from the sound of it, this thing is all but complete.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like this was like one of those like white whale kind of situations. Like you said, just short of StarCraft Ghost of like, oh my God, this game was hyped up like hell and then just never came out.
Yeah, like I wonder if at this point, like just to have a safe way to distribute it that isn't just like flying all over the place and running executables you don't know where they came from. Like if Blizzard maybe then just goes like, all right, we're gonna
wrap it up in Battle.net.
We're gonna wrap it up and put it out
since
for
it's
real.
out anyway.
Yeah,
yeah, maybe.
Here you go.
Maybe.
Like a one-page director commentary, like if there's someone there who worked on it still, if they're not all retiring.
Yes.
Just say like, hey, here was our mindset when we made this. Here is why we killed it. You know, just like a one-pager.
Yeah.
A little short video, something about it. Something
Yeah,
like that,
I mean, you can
put it out.
I saw some quotes from Bill Roper from back in the day about this. That tells you how long ago it was because Bill Roper was still at Blizzard then.
Yep. Yeah.
You can rest assured that Chris Metzen will not be providing commentary on any official release of Warcraft Adventures because he ain't there anymore.
That's right.
Chris Metzen has also retired from Blizzard in this week's Blizzard update.
It's a pretty big deal.
Sounds like he may be done with video games.
Yeah, he just straight up uses the word retires or retiring.
So who got corrupted in this story? Chris Metzen or Blizzard? Like who befell to the corruption that they have to part ways and then only to be reunited later?
Sure. Somebody will come back in and purify him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. He's out. He was their head story guy.
Yeah, he's just doing family time now.
Yeah,
right?
he's straight up said
Craft beer.
He's done making.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make your money, get out craft beers.
Yep. Spend the rest of your life hamming and egging it out there.
I wonder. Blizzard doesn't make a lot of games with story anymore. They make games with lore, but.
Come on now. I told you what happens at the end of StarCraft 2.
But the game's out. The game's out and done. The game's out and done.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Like what?
I mean, like even if it's a WoW expansion, you still got to write a through line for it.
Yeah,
even if the story is told through quest text or whatever.
Yeah.
Overwatch has animated shorts.
Really good ones, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but you're right. That's not a
right
narrative in the traditional sense.
So you have to wonder, like, if at some point, like, like, my work here is done.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
He's tied off the arcs he cared about, or,
Sure. Yeah, all those.
Maybe the culture changed to the types of games the company's likely to make in the future got to a point where it's like, maybe this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're right. Like all the franchises that he helped create are kind of settled.
He was there a long fucking time. Maybe it was just
like
for
a long time.
Hey,
like could retire early.
Yeah. I would like to see them make more story-driven games, though.
Yeah, Bloodborne 2.
Hopefully, there you go. But
God damn, yes,
they will be written by people other than him.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some people out there that are taking that as good news.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
There are definitely people who will be celebrating this news. I've seen a fair amount of angst about the quality of Blizzard's writing over the last few years. It makes you wonder, though, like all the names that you used to associate with Blizzard back in the day, like one by one,
Bobby Kotick.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
No, but like Roper, like Rob Pardo's gone, like Metzen's gone now.
Jim
like,
Raynor left.
Yes, indeed, he's out there. Yes, he definitely left.
Yeah.
He's out there doing it. But like, yeah, like Morheim's still there running the place, but you know,
Bob Coleco's back.
That's true. That's true.
That's all that matters.
He will be there to regulate. But yeah, like, you know, who knows what happens to that company over
think
time.
I think they'll
no,
be
I
okay.
know they'll be fine, but like it's just like the Apple discussion, you know,
yeah.
like one extremely like willful, charismatic person can very much set the tone for an entire company.
Right. Yeah. And
so, like,
just like
once
what types
all
of
those-
games are they going to make? You know, it's like they're doing Heroes of the Storm stuff
Right.
now.
Right.
You know, Overwatch is going to continue to roll on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hearthstone is fucking Hearthstone.
You know, but like, you know, like when you build something from the ground up, like you should know, like people take these things very personally and have a huge investment in making sure that they, you know,
that their will is the
Yes.
thing that yes.
yeah. So once all those people that Blizzard is close to, then that were there at the beginning are gone. You know, like who knows like what the direction of the company becomes.
But yeah, totally. It's hard to say without knowing like how much of an impact those players have had in recent history and how much of it is kind of like new blood at Blizzard anyway.
Yes, that is fair.
So, you know, it's hard to know one way or the other, but yes certainly. Yeah.
We got to take one more quick break. We've still got like 3 news stories left.
Wow. All right.
Why don't you get some food sent to you and maybe learn how to cook along the way?
I like to eat food.
Yeah.
I like to be sent things.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know how I feel about cooking.
All right. Well, what if you got food and all of the instructions you need on how to prepare that food into something that looks better than food you might just concoct yourself?
So it's like a food blueprint?
Yeah. They give you the blueprint and they give you the goods, and then you, with the grace of Blue Apron, turn it into delicious food.
Does that mean I'm going to be a chef?
I mean, in a manner of speaking, you know, you're like a script kiddie in chef form.
Okay.
You know, you're following the instructions, getting things done.
So it's like a player piano for food?
No,
Like
you still have to
feed the paper in and out, the food comes out?
No, you feed the paper into your brain, and then your brain executes on making the food. So you're still making the food.
Okay.
But they're sending you the ingredients in a way that's easy to understand and easy to deal with.
Like in a
not
box?
you going,
Okay.
and not like, oh, I need to get 8 ounces of this or whatever. They're sending you exactly what you need to do this. And they're sending it humanely. The beef is raised humanely, the chicken free range. Pork is raised naturally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the delivery guy being treated humanely?
You know, that's the Blue Apron does not deal with the delivery company directly. I cannot speak to that one way or the other. But Blue Apron can be delivered to 99% of the continental U.S. and 99.5% of food deserts. If you live in a food desert.
I don't want to live in a food desert.
Well, if you did, you could still get Blue Apron.
Okay.
Odds are.
Well,
and it's less
bully
than,
for those people.
Yeah, and it's less than $10 a meal. Here are some of the meals you might be able to get in September.
Oh, no.
Paprika spiced shrimp and cheddar grits with tomato and sweet corn.
Shrimp and grits, it's a classic.
Summer udon noodle salad with cherry tomatoes, corn, and summer sweet pepper.
Udon salad, it's a classic.
Yes. And you can check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/bombcast.
Free meals.
Home cooked meals
Free.
sent to your house for you to cook in your home
Free.
and eat in your house.
Free.
That's blueapron.com/bombcast. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
All right, 3 more news stories. We will move through them at a rapid clip.
All right.
Yes. Item the first. Bethesda has come out and said that Fallout 4 and the forthcoming Skyrim remaster are not going to get mods on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Cool.
After-
Number
after-
2.
No. Provide a little bit of context. I mean, that stuff had been out. When did that come out on the Xbox? Like
A while ago.
3-4 months ago or
Yeah.
something? And they'd kind of been like hemming and hawing about like, yeah, it'll get there eventually. But
Right.
as of right now, they're saying no.
Yeah, well.
They are talking like Sony is not giving them the freedom to just allow whatever mods they want on there.
Yeah, that seems like something Sony would say. It's weird because Unreal Tournament 3 on the PS3 had mod support.
Yeah, you had to like transfer it via USB.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that.
I always
It
thought
was a
Sony was
cool
the more
time.
open of the two. Like, you know, they had the Steam and Portal 2 stuff.
Well, keep in mind when they were doing for the PS3,
Yes.
they were maybe not the thought leader in the
Yes,
space,
that's
and
fair.
they were interested in doing things to try to, move people over.
Yes. Now Microsoft is in that position.
Yeah. But also, I could see this very easily being like a security concern for Sony.
Mhm.
Is-
Yeah,
whether it's
absolutely, yeah.
legitimate or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I suspect it would be very hard to get those games to overflow in such a way that gives you fucking, custom firmware,
Yeah.
that leads to
Yeah.
any of the hacking stuff that someone will be worried about.
Sure.
But, maybe they couldn't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that their stuff was perfectly safe and totally unable to do that. Or maybe Sony is just very skittish.
Yeah.
There's other recent stuff on other Sony platforms. Maybe it gives them a little pause to go like, hey, we need to, nah, man.
Kind of a long history of stuff like that
Yeah.
on PlayStation platforms.
Yeah. So I could see why Sony would be very skittish about that. I think that fucking sucks.
Yeah, it
but-
is a gigantic
yeah.
bummer, and I hope they find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
But that is the situation.
I mean, if
as of
it's
now.
at a point where Bethesda is going public with it
Yeah.
and saying Sony said no,
Yeah.
as opposed to we're still in talks, like,
Well, to be fair, Sony said no to the way we want to do it.
right.
Like, and we were not willing to do it in a compromised fashion.
Yeah, totally. Which makes sense. I mean, they probably want any mod to work.
Yeah.
Because anything else is a lot of work of like, okay, now we need to put these through additional testing,
Yeah, yeah.
and then there needs to be
Yeah.
siloed and like that sort of stuff.
Maybe
Like,
it's not worth their
it's
time.
not worth
at
it
that
for
point.
Bethesda to
Yeah.
do it at that
Yeah.
point. So it's all or nothing, as it probably should be.
Yeah, still a bummer though, as of now. Lastly, games got delayed.
Sweet.
Perhaps you've heard of The Last Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
It slipped by 6 weeks. Not exactly
That's
the
a-
end of the world.
It's like a No Man's Sky delay.
Kind of, yes. In fact, they say like, yeah, we need more time to fix bugs. It's coming out on the 7th of December now. It's just
We've waited this long.
what's one more delay
Yeah.
after 9 years or whatever it is?
Jesus.
Maybe 7 years, 8 years. I don't know.
It feels longer than that.
But that gets crazy for December now.
Yeah.
Like now, that's Last Guardian, Dead Rising 4, and the new South Park RPG all on the same day in December.
Shit. Like early December.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like it's
oh
usually,
man.
usually December is kind of like a wasteland of like also rans or whatever.
Kind of. Yeah. There's always one or
There's
two.
always like one or
maybe.
two
Yeah.
things, but
Far
like,
Cry.
those
Far
are like
Cry, yeah.
those are all like 3 pretty major releases to me. And
Yeah.
it's like, granted, some of this is like Game of the Year process talking,
Oh yeah.
but,
I mean,
but that starts getting
like the thing
tricky
is,
for us.
if those games need to be out in early December, then with all the holiday time before that, they're gonna have to go gold before that. It's like for us, we will just contact them and say like, hey, if you are interested in having your game considered by us at all,
Yes.
you should probably send it early.
yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But it's still just a lot of time to put into stuff
Mhm.
very quickly. Bloodstained, the EGA Kickstarter,
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
also has slipped to first half of 2018 is what they're saying.
Whoa.
Yikes.
That's a hell of a slip.
Yeah. Do you know? This statement they put out here doesn't mention what the original time frame was.
I
Do you
was
know off the top
I
of
was
your head?
expecting 2017, but
I think it was sometime next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're saying first half of 2018 now.
Okay.
They're hiring more people.
whoa.
They're bringing additional developers onto the project. Is what this Kickstarter backer update says.
Fine. You gonna take their time with it. We saw kind of what happened to Mighty Number 9. That
Yes.
was not
Yeah.
received very well.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, it's been a rough summer for Concept.
yeah.
It's been a rough existence
Yeah,
for Concept.
I guess so. I guess EGA doesn't want the same situation for them.
Yeah,
Yeah. He literally says we want it done right the first time.
Yeah.
is the quote. Good. So
Yeah.
and they're promising more backer stuff coming along the way and that sort of thing. All right, we need to move into emails.
No, we need to talk about the Sony press conference. I thought that was your third news story.
That thing's fucking boring.
They confirmed that
Colored
Hot Shots,
Vitas.
Hot Shots Golf is coming out in the summer of
Okay,
next year.
sweet.
okay, I did not see that.
PS4?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Discussion of that press conference seemed to be dominated by new colors of Vita.
I fell asleep
Yeah.
because it started at midnight last night.
forgot
and I was
all
like,
about it.
oh, should I stay up and watch this thing? Like, no, probably not. Last time I stayed up for one of these things, it was just Call of Duty
Yep.
and Watch Dogs trailers.
Yes.
And like all these UB games and stuff, and then sure enough, like they showed a Call of Duty and a Watch Dogs
Yep.
2 trailer
Yep.
in this thing.
A lot of
That's
Western
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just the nature of the games industry, right? But
Sure.
they announced what did they?
Well, not only that, they have the dominant Western platform. So
yes,
they have
yeah.
to do some of that
There's
stuff.
a new Saga game for Vita. They they showed Vita games this thing.
okay.
And Vita colors.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
DGS.
new colors of Vita.
Two new colors of Vita. Briefly showed like
Surprised they're still
new
making that.
Just new
Danganronpa.
colors. No new like hardware changes or anything.
Didn't
right?
look like it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm looking for. They announced a ship,
December 1st for the
Okay.
new Vita colors over there.
They announced a ship date for Neo,
I bet those come with 361 on them.
which I can't.
The Neo ship date is
find.
the same as it is here, I think.
Yeah, it's
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to find. all that
day and
stuff.
date.
Yeah.
February 9th, 2017.
February 9th?
Yes.
Oh, for what?
For Neo.
Oh.
The game?
Oh, Neo. Oh,
Neo,
right, not the console. Right.
Yes, the
NI
hack and slash game.
Yeah, NIOH.
Oh.
Yes. Like Japan Studios working on some VR stuff. Like there were a little bit of a few tidbits coming out of this thing.
Not too much in that I was interested by. Like I woke up and kind of went back and scrubbed the archive real quick for stuff, and I was like, oh, all right, okay.
Like some stuff was said about Death Stranding, and I was like, oh, and then like here's the headline as written by Kotaku: Death Stranding has open world and online elements.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like,
you know,
cool. It's a video game.
You know, there's nothing to show.
Yeah. So yeah, not a whole lot out of Sony at TGS.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm glad you stopped me though, because there is one other thing that we have to talk about before we move on.
Earth Defense
Very
Force
long podcast.
5.
No, it's not that.
There's frogs.
did show-
They're
they
fucking
did show
huge
EDF
frogs. They're bipedal frogs. They're wearing.
Will this be
gear and shit.
this be the good one? Are they finally going to make a good EDF game, or
They've been making good ones for a long time. Jeff.
Where?
Like,
do they not come out here?
Every single
or
release that they've actually put out has been amazing. I don't know which ones you're playing. That's
I
weird.
would rather play Muso All Stars,
That sounds really terrible.
which they
actually.
also
yeah.
like
Ninja Gaiden, who
what's
the
her
fuck
face,
else?
Kasumi from
Somebody from
DOA.
Tokiden.
Yeah, like
that looks like
all of the properties of Tecmo Koei coming together in one fantastic fucking mash the button forever video game.
I am generally okay with that engine, but man, there are a lot of those, and
Yeah. Like they showed a new Gundam game.
okay.
You know,
Yay!
Also, huge fucking frogs.
Big frog.
They're huge.
Giant bugs still popular.
I'm more
also
interested
now
in. I
frogs.
mean, having seen the giant ants for a long time and how lame they are, I'm into giant frogs at least as being
good.
like potentially something different. So
Good. I'm glad that they're tapping into
They're
that
really-
market.
they're really getting me in
speaking
here.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been taking your feedback.
My feedback mostly has been, what the fuck with these games?
They're awesome. They handle spectacle like no other. You haven't played very much of them. You got to play more.
I finished one of them
No, you didn't.
on the 360.
No, you didn't. Oh, the dad. See, since that one,
a lot of
they've been making-
qualifications to your
everything
argument
since
here.
then has been good.
Okay, we
But
have
that-
to move on.
What?
Thank you for the EDF update. But there
for-
is one more important piece of news we need to talk about.
Okay.
Dude, they made the game.
Oh yeah,
They made the game
yeah. Michael Douglas. It's gonna be awesome.
What? From that episode of Star Trek.
Yeah. That Star Trek Timelines.
Star Trek
mobile thing.
Timelines has the game in it.
What is the game?
He's a rapper.
Oh, right.
he's
Okay.
He's got the little right
Chuck
here.
Chuck Taylor,
Yeah.
Hurricane Game, former member of G Unit.
Okay. 14-time world champion.
It's from that episode.
The episode of Star Trek.
Did you not watch that one?
I don't think I've
You
seen
were
that
watching
one.
that show
Yeah.
for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
They attach something to their eyes that is like this
It's almost
game
this
where you're
weird
putting,
VR or like
it's
AR.
thing of discs going into these like funnels, and then it triggers some kind of dopamine response where they go
Yeah, it
every time
basically-
they finish a level.
People
Yeah.
become so addicted to it that the entire enterprise turns into like a cult
Oh,
of
weird.
people,
It's-
of
it's
people
the
trying to force you to put the game on so you can play
the
it.
thing people were talking about when Pokemon Go came out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like the game itself is goofy looking, like 1990 CG looking garbage.
So
But
this is inside the licensed Star Trek thing?
it is Star Trek Timelines is that free to play mobile game.
Oh, right.
That
that thing.
that Rich Gallup
Yeah.
made all by himself. No,
Yes.
this is-
yeah.
Yes, but no,
Rich
yes,
Gallup's-
yes. One producer, Rich Gallup, is quoted in the story here talking about the game. It's something you can unlock in the. Only one player has found it so far,
Okay.
and they have not used it
That's crazy.
because they have
It's
it in
dangerous,
their.
right?
They have it in their inventory, but the developer can tell if they've activated it yet or not, and they have not yet activated
Well,
it
it's addictive. You got to stay away.
because it shows up as there's a screenshot of the where is the inventory here. The item is just the Katarian headset.
Oh man.
So you actually have to like look at the screenshot. You have to
Smart.
like use it, and like the
Oh man.
the tooltip when you use it is just let go, relax,
nice.
and then it spawns the game. They have a video on out on YouTube of the actual game, and it uses AR. So you're like,
Okay,
you're
yeah.
actually like
As it would,
moving your
yeah.
head around just like it was
I'm
in the
gonna
fucking show.
get cardboard standees of the Enterprise bridge crew.
Yep.
No, I'm not gonna do
You're
any
gonna
of
play the
this. Yeah. I wonder how much timelines you have to play to actually get the game.
I don't know. Rich claims to know what the unlocking process
Of
is for
course
this
he does,
thing, but
yeah.
he's not divulging, and also he hasn't been able to do it yet.
Okay, well then, I mean, all right,
Also, apparently, this thing has been in timelines in some form for quite a while,
cool.
but they just now
That's-
recently enabled the ability to unlock it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. It's awesome. All right. It's my Star Trek minute.
Have they announced like how to get?
No,
Okay.
I don't think they ever will.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Somebody will figure it out eventually, but
All
so
right.
far the one player who has it is not spilling the beans, if they even know. All
He
right.
just doesn't know that he has it.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, let's do like 15, 20 minutes of emails.
Okay.
And then move on to the rest of our lives. Bombcast at giantbomb.com. First email comes in from Gilbert, somewhere near Atlanta, Georgia. There was buzz around the Xbox One subreddit this week as an NES emulator called Universal Emulator was approved by Microsoft. Jeff, maybe I hope you've heard some of this stuff because it goes pretty deep. But then quickly taken down from the store. The creator of this emulator has since converted the app into an HTML5 build that allows it to be played on the console's Edge browser with OneDrive support to arrive shortly. Presumably, I guess OneDrive is where you'd store your ROMs. Obviously, emulators are a gray area, but I was wondering how much legal ground Nintendo has to block an app that technically doesn't include any illegal material. Has a precedent already been set by Nintendo not forcing Mupen64 on Android? I hope somebody knows what that is. And the countless PC emulators to cease and desist.
Yeah, I mean, the emulators themselves are legal.
Yeah.
You know, they don't contain, assuming they don't contain code from the original
or
platform.
like a dump of a BIOS or something like that.
Some emulators all but require a dump of the BIOS, and that's a different story. That's copyrighted code. So this is a case of like Microsoft just being like, this is a bad look for us to have this on here. It makes us look like we're some fucking freewheeling Wild West box in a way that we don't want to look. So we're not going to approve it. It's stuff that got approved for showing up in the Windows Store that then did not propagate over to Xbox One.
Because they blocked it.
Yeah,
is what you're saying. So wait, does that mean it's still in the Windows Store?
I believe so.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a bunch of shit like that in the Windows Store. Like that's not unique.
Okay.
It being able to run on an Xbox One would be
sure.
It's purely at their discretion. I can't say I blame them for doing it because I think that I think it just looks real weird. It's not what you want to hang your hat on in terms of like how you're selling your platform and all this sort of stuff. I think it's just. It would be a janky look for them. So I get
allow
why
that to exist.
To allow it to exist on that hardware. So I get why they would take those steps. And I think that makes some sense, even though technically not illegal. The dumps of the ROMs that would be stored on USB or OneDrive or however you end up doing it. Look, very few people are buying the fucking hardware to dump their own fucking ROMs.
Sure.
Obviously. Yeah. That stuff is everywhere. That stuff technically illegal. Also has existed on websites. Also, the archive.org got a DMCA exemption, I believe, for storing a lot of that stuff. There are a ton of console dumps and like Amiga software and all this other stuff just living on archive.org.
Weird.
In like mess software list format, like ready to go. I downloaded a 31 gig file of Amiga games over the weekend.
Jeez.
There are that many Amiga games?
Oh, yeah. Well, it might be different versions of the same game in some cases and a lot of stuff like that. But like that is just sitting on archive.org for you to go get.
Right then.
And like apparently quasi-legally. That might be one of those cases where like, hey, the games are going to get removed from this archive as rights holders contact them and say, hey, dude, fucking don't. It's probably still some kind of gray area, but that stuff is just out there. That's not like fucking, we got to torrent this stuff and talk real quietly about it. That stuff is in your face and all over the internet.
The fact that this can
running
run
in web browsers.
Yeah, I was going to say the fact that this can run in a browser and access your OneDrive is kind of insane.
Yeah. But like that stuff's like
cool.
There are some people that are just like hosting web-based emulators with the ROMs. Like archive.org does that as well.
Yeah.
Of just like, hey, come here and play fucking Super Mario Brothers. I don't know. And Nintendo is not stopping all of it. I'm sure they're pushing down on sites individually here and there when it crops up, but there's a ton of that stuff out there. So yeah, I think that this is something that Microsoft is probably just taking a look at it and going like, this just isn't how we want to look.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them.
Pretty tough to stop that web-based stuff though.
Oh yeah.
But then I guess they can just kind of like
it's the web. It's
claim
whatever. It's on a
ignorance or
website.
whatever.
We don't, we don't know.
Yep.
We don't care.
Yep. Nathan in Ottawa. I just got through watching Vinny's playthrough of Simon's Quest, and unlike the convoluted nature of the game, I have a relatively straightforward question. How were you expected to play a game like Simon's Quest in an era with no facts? There were probably 10 instances in the game where, unless you had a guide, I couldn't see anyone getting past it.
I had Nintendo Power.
Nintendo Power had a full guide of how to play that game in the magazine.
Was that in the like literal issue 2 with like the... The
Might have
actor,
been. I don't
like
know.
the model, this actor on the cover, like dressed up as Simon Belmont
Maybe that-
holding the Dracula.
I don't know if that
Right.
was there or if that was
or later on.
if that was
maybe.
like preview phase Simon's Quest,
Yeah.
and then they had it later. But yeah,
Yeah.
they printed a full thing in there that was like, walk out here, duck, do this,
Yeah.
do that, and you could buy that game and finish it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, like kneeling on the right block for however many seconds is like the famous example in that game of just the complete bullshit that they expected you to figure out.
Yeah, there's ridiculous stuff in there.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, Nintendo Power. I mean, like that. Like, we've talked about it recently for some reason, but that like nice like black cover Nintendo Player's Guide
Right.
was a big source of stuff like that for a long time.
Mhm.
I never thought it was quite as conspiratorial as like we're gonna put a bunch of convoluted bullshit in here to sell strategy guides.
Yeah, I think it's more that just like developers were out of their fucking minds.
Yeah. Yes. That's how it always came off to
hadn't
me.
figured it out
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of the stuff like the Super Pitfall, Atlantis no Nazo, whatever the fuck it's called. That super hard Japanese game that's like full of just bullshit like that. Yeah, I just think that there were some developers that just like thought that was going to be the way to sell games, and like, hey, we're making this thing impossible, and people will play it forever. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Let's see. Brooke from Chicago. I found out that my office is next door to Iron Galaxy.
Gross.
How could I casually and non-awkwardly say hi to Dave Lang if I see him in the wild?
They'll be on the roof, right?
Usually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
taking more pictures
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
I recommend if you see a Dave Lang in the wild, do not make eye contact.
Mm.
Do not approach him in any way. It just makes him angry.
Call the authorities.
Yes. Call your local animal control.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just ride the elevators and make eye rolls and like video games, huh? Psh, to anyone that gets in the elevator.
Sure. Yeah. Keep doing that long enough. It'll pay off.
Yeah.
Let's see here. How
Yeah.
about Joe writes in from Southend, England. If the Bombcast were to become a late night TV show with live music in the intermissions, like what SNL does, who would you want to have on? In this scenario, let's say that you have a ton of street cred and budget and can get whoever.
Like to host? Was that how? Like,
No,
if they're saying SNL.
I guess
Like,
so.
are we the cast members and we can have hosts and musical guests?
I guess so. I don't know. I almost read this more as like a house band, like late night show.
So like the Roots for Fallon.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's how I thought of it.
I was in brief talks for about 2 days about having a house band for E3 one year.
Huh.
Wow. There was some like word got back to me. It's like, hey, so Last FM, another website in the network of websites in this building and others, like they do a bunch of stuff with bands. Would you be interested in maybe like doing some kind of co-branded thing with them? And I kind of said like, actually, if we're gonna get a band and it's gonna be like a CBS affiliated thing, I just want an acoustic set from LL Cool J.
Shit.
I want him to recreate the unplugged set,
Okay.
Yeah.
and just do that version of "Mama Said Knock You Out."
Yeah.
And can we get that? It didn't go anywhere after that.
Yeah.
That was kind of the
They
end
weren't
of it.
receptive?
No, it just didn't seem like.
Well, shot for the moon on that one.
Yeah, well, you know,
Axel?
Dude, what?
Have Axel sit in. Give him a little stool. He doesn't have to have the whole band with him. Just Axel.
I mean,
Just gonna have
it
him
was-
sing a cappella? I don't.
I mean, you could have a band. I
think he-
mean, I don't know if we have the budget for Slash
I
and
guess-
Duff and all those
I
guys.
guess he plays
or-
piano, right? I was gonna say
Yeah.
I didn't think he played any instruments.
You
but
can
I
bring
guess he
Dizzy in.
it'd be nice to have him because then you could just turn to him at any point and say, "Give me some reggae."
Yeah.
That's a good point.
that would,
But then
like,
he would
that
have
would,
to
like,
yell
put
at
a
someone
quarter
else
in.
Yeah.
too.
Isn't
It'd
he
be a game
usually-
of telephone.
Yeah.
Isn't he usually the guy in need of some reggae?
No,
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
But like,
So,
I
like,
need it
I don't-
more than he ever
Yeah.
has. Trust me on
I just
this.
don't know that he has any reggae to give on a moment's notice.
But I want him to go looking for the reggae. I want him
Okay.
to turn to his bandmates and say, "Hey, can
We
get-
hire
Yeah.
him.
That's
He's
fair.
got to go find the reggae
Yeah.
for
yeah, that's fair. You know, it's been some number of years. He's probably stockpiled a fair amount of reggae at this point.
One would hope."
He could probably spare a little
He
bit.
keeps it back by his oxygen tank
Yeah.
side of the stage.
We had a live band for a Big Live show.
Yeah, that's true.
The second
I think that might have been the second one, maybe.
in the Whiskey Media basement.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And we had Dose One in here playing.
Yeah,
during GDC.
that was cool.
That
Yeah,
one
I
year.
remember that.
That was cool. If we could have any house band that I could think of off the top of my head, I would pick Ween.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
you would never know what you were going to get.
There's a versatility.
Oh, wow.
Fucking never know what they would play.
That's good.
I would just shout. I would just want them to play "Cover It with Gas" and set it on fire over and over again.
Sure.
And hey, keep it under 35 minutes this time, you fucking
Yeah, seriously.
jam band
fucking
scumbags.
Had to jam on Purple Rain for 20 minutes in the middle,
Yeah.
you assholes.
I would want like
stop hitting the pipe.
the pod era
Yeah,
ween.
sure.
I would want like fucking tight fucking with a drum machine so they can't fucking be a jam band ween.
Yeah, sure. I would have to get them to play their Pizza Hut jingle every
when
so
it,
often.
when it meant something.
Yes. Let's see.
Chris Remo.
Yeah, okay. Every once in a while, I have to go out and find that Far Cry 2 video they did. I'm sure you've seen that, right? Have you not seen that?
What are you talking about?
Of him watching Nick Brecken play Far Cry 2 with an acoustic guitar and like live scoring it, like playing along with what was happening in the game in a really fucking amazing way. It was a cool idea. They should do more of that. Ben writes in about Toe Jam and Earl. As a Sega Genesis owner growing up, I had both Toe Jam and Earl games for it. I did not care for the original one at all and topped out around collecting 5 of the spaceship parts. I loved Panic on Funkotron. On episode 446, you guys, sounds like Jeff loudest of all, thought the sequel was garbage and the original was good. Why is that? The second one had direction, fun alternate world bonus areas, stuffing humans into glass jars, and solid platforming. The original was just bland without any real
I
direction.
think that second game just looks like trash and the mechanics are terrible. It's like a bad, loose, weird, shitty platformer. Like the find the humans in the bushes mechanics are fucking awful. Like it just top to bottom, I think. Like and it just throws away everything that was great about the first game. Like it's they when they went to go kickstart their new Toe Jam and Earl, there was like some paragraph of like, well, we know some people really like the second one and not the first. Some people really like the first one and not the second. Some people just like them both. I'm like, no, there's one right answer to this question.
What are your thoughts on Ready Aim Tomatoes?
It is the only other Toe Jam and Earl game I will recognize.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Drew, your thoughts?
I like the first one.
You like the first one better? You were in that camp?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
The first one is a vast and changing adventure that is slightly different every time you play it.
Exactly.
Second game is a sad factory of trash.
All right.
When I brought
I hate
Riff
those.
Raff into Game Informer, that's the game we had him play, was the second Toe Jam and
one?
Earl, and he did not seem too excited. by it.
No.
See?
Yeah.
What does Jody High Roller know? Everything.
He didn't like that game.
No.
That's why you had him design his own, right?
That's right, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Was he a fan of the first game?
He seemed to have no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned at some point that he had played Excitebike, but he stopped playing games, and he thinks all games are bullshit now. I think it's actually in that video him explaining how games have been shit since '97.
I mean, if it's Riff Raff's opinion,
97. All right.
if it's Riff Raff's opinion that Excitebike is the only game worth playing, I think I'm okay with that.
I'll have to watch that again. He had some thoughts
We
about
should
the
get him a
industry.
Famicom disk system so that he can save the courses he made in Excitebike.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Fuck Mario Maker, let's publish.
We're publishing
Riff Raff's
Excitebike
Excitebike
courses.
All right.
It's E space A space.
Yep. Okay. A couple more quick emails here. Steven writes in from Bellevue, Washington. I've been thinking about this for a while and wanted to hear what you guys thought while Dan was back in the office. Is Daisy basically just Wah Peach now? Recently, Rosalina has sort of taken over as the second princess of the Mario universe, the Player 2 princess. She's taller and wears green, while Peach wears pink, but where does that leave Daisy? Daisy, like Wario, has more personality than the main archetype of herself and is a fan favorite. She, like Wario, is stout, wears yellow, and is a more cartoonish version of Peach.
She's stout?
What Wario is to Mario, Daisy is to Princess Peach.
No.
How long until Nintendo makes a full-on Wah game where Wario and Waluigi must fight Wart to save Wah Peach, a.k.a. Princess Daisy?
I don't get the Wah indicates evil, and nothing about Daisy's character indicates.
But nothing about
anything
Wario
sinister.
is actually evil.
I mean, he's always
He just thinks
eating
he's
garlic and farting on
mischievous.
people.
What's wrong with
That's
garlic?
robbing
None
people.
of those things are actually evil.
He robs
Robbing
people.
maybe. But
Yeah.
he's mischievous.
Yeah.
Do you say the same for Waluigi?
No, he's might as well not exist. He's just trash.
He's
I don't think
mean
he's
too.
evil.
He's conniving.
If
I don't think he's evil. I just think he's lame.
You don't fight him at the end of a game. You don't drop him.
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
pull
aware.
You don't pull a bridge out from under him and drop him into lava, so he's not truly evil.
Yeah, Bowser's the only evil.
Did Bowser ever get his own 3D platformer? I don't.
I mean, you control him through most of Bowser's Inside Story.
Like
that's the
Donkey
same
Kong was evil until Donkey Kong Jr. came out, and then Mario was evil.
Made him
That's
soft.
true. Waluigi has done graffiti on public property,
Not
and
evil.
it's against the law.
Yeah, it's a victimless crime.
It's true.
Okay. Well, he's not like pure good. Like
You're
Mario,
saying- all
Mario
you're
cleans
telling-
up graffiti.
All you're telling me is he's an artist,
Okay.
and that Mario is lame.
Mario had to
people
clean
who-
up that island town.
People who clean up graffiti are lame.
It's against the law. You're not supposed to do that. I am in favor of cleaning up all graffiti.
All graffiti?
Every yeah. Everything from something under a tunnel to some damn Banksy thing.
None of it has
It's
any
against the law.
None of it has any aesthetic merit at all to you.
I mean, some of it looks cool, but do it
Okay.
on a pad of paper. Don't do it on the side of a damn office building.
Okay.
It's illegal.
All right.
What if it's commissioned? Is it
I mean, if the building is like, yeah, we want a cool
Okay.
mural or whatever, then yeah, absolutely.
all right.
But you can't break the law.
What if you give him a free cool mural?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you didn't even know you wanted this, but now you've got this sick thing, and
If
my
you
name is
ask
hidden in it.
permission and you give them some concept stuff and someone says yes, then yes, by all means. Do
That
that.
sounds fucking boring.
I stand by the word of the law.
Good to know. Man, we got a lot of Nintendo-related emails this week. Very short and to the point email from Samuel. Picross 3D or Pushmo, which is better?
Oh,
Picross 3D.
Picross 3D.
Man, really?
Wow.
Pushmo is fine. But Picross 3D is
Pushmo is
perfect.
better than fine.
It was too many Pushmo style games in at
Oh, I don't disagree.
back to
That
back.
yeah, like
that,
what
like
was
at some point Pulmo.
what was the
Groove
There's
Mode?
Crash Mode.
Crash
there's
Mode.
Pushmo.
What the fuck is
That's the
Groove
rhythm
Mode?
game.
Is that real?
No.
I would have believed that.
See, there are too many of them. You can't even keep track of them.
Yeah, I won't disagree. Like Crash Mode is not as good, but the first Pushmo is really
They're good games,
Pushmo's really
but they're no
good.
Picross.
What if you pulled and pushed the blocks around, and then at the end of it, it was like you were plotting notes, and then it played music.
And then they told you a fun little fact about the thing you made.
and then you had to climb up the music to win.
Yeah, I guess that sounds okay.
Groove Mo.
Groove-mo.
All right.
Okay, all right. Conrad from St. Louis. With all of your recent videos of the new Hitman game, I've been considering going back and playing through some of the previous entries in the series. I know Blood Money seems to be the one people love the most, but I'm curious to hear your opinions on some of the other games in the franchise. And then he listed them out here just for people's reference. Hitman Codename 47 from 2000, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin 2002, Hitman Contracts 2004, Blood Money was 2006, Absolution in 2012, and then now we're on the new one.
I barely messed with the first couple.
Yeah.
I think I rented them a
Yes.
couple times or played them in like friends' dorm rooms or whatever. But Blood Money is the one that was the first one I reviewed and played through the entirety, and like I really like that one. Absolution I put a few hours into, and it just didn't grab me nearly as much. So I guess
Absolution is the most recent one that came
Yeah,
out.
Yeah, that was the
That's
one
kind
that
of
the fan
weird,
base kind
yeah.
of rebelled against, or
It's kind
people
of
were
yeah.
not people were not super happy with.
Yeah, I wasn't big on that. So I guess Blood Money and this current one are
Yeah.
the two big ones for me.
I was in the midst of college when the first two came out and not playing as many games, but were those games like kind of hardcore PC games? Like that was back when you guys still had the kind of
Right,
the
yeah, we had the
PC
split.
console split. Like,
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah.
like did those didn't even come out on consoles at the time, did they?
I guess not. Maybe they did. I don't
Okay.
actually know.
I always in my mind those were always sort of like Mafia. They were like the kind of like
Yeah,
higher level,
right.
like more interesting mechanically.
Yes, they were.
PC
So
games.
there was a level of depth and like I guess like lack of forgiveness into the stealth in those games that made sure that I didn't have any interest in them. They were just clunky enough to where they were maybe a little like you had to really want it. I think. So maybe it would make sense that they didn't make it to consoles. But no, I think they maybe made it later.
I
We'll
think
have to go look.
Contracts was on console.
Yeah, we'll
'cause
have to go look. I don't actually know. But yeah, I don't know. They were really well liked out of the gate, but so was Splinter Cell. And
Yeah.
It was a lot of that same stuff of just like, hey, here's this kind of stealth game, and stealth games back then especially were really kind of like love it or hate it kind
Yes.
of thing because
Yes.
they were not as forgiveness based as modern stealth is.
Yeah.
When
Man, there was a real run of stealth games there, though, in the years
yeah.
after
Oh,
Metal
yeah.
Gear Solid. Holy crap. Yeah, when we started doing this new thing, like, we just covered it because it was a new game coming out, and then, like, after we got way into this new one, I was like, actually, I thought about it. I was like, hey, I've played, like, all of the Hitman games except for the first two. But just never considered myself, like, a big fan. That game's good, though.
There's a new Elusive Target.
Oh,
They announced
This week?
one, I think. Yeah.
Let's wrap up. Let's go.
shit. All right.
You got to do it.
You're probably right. Okay. Last email. It's from Brandon. Okay. This is a good email. As of 2011, Nintendo has, quote, acquired distinctiveness for the word Picross from the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, which had earlier ruled that the word Picross was merely a generic term for what are originally called nonogram logic puzzles. This came shortly after the launch of the original Picross 3D and Nintendo's effort to sweep the internet, bullying fans like me for our Picross-related domain names. For you see, I owned Picross.com from 2004 to 2010.
Nice.
When the below italicized legal business commenced, he included a long email from his lawyer from the time. Basically, even though Nintendo didn't own the word at the time, they still had a larger and older presence of its use worldwide than I did, and that was enough to force the transfer of a domain name. My Picross site still exists at hieroglyphics.com, but no one knows what the hell a hieroglyph is. Fuck Nintendo.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah.
You can wrest control of domains.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days when that fucking dude registered
Yeah.
McDonald's.com.
Sure.
And
Yes.
held it hostage for a little while.
Did he get a big buyout for that?
I mean, back in the
Payout?
in the early days,
Yeah, you
people
could
would,
just sit
people
on
would
stuff
totally
and camp
squat
on it.
and
Huh.
I think that was the thing with SNL.com is Lauren wanted that for years and years and years. And I want to say that if you go to SNL.com now, it's still some weird other business, and you have to go to NBC.com/SNL. I think.
You might be right. I'm going to
check on that.
SNL.com.
So that's amazing that they weren't able to get that.
We are
NBC.
S&P Global.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, looks like some kind of financial services
Yep.
website of some kind.
Yeah, like how is NBC not able to get that?
If the company won't sell, they won't sell. If they have a legitimate
If they have a
use
claim
for
to
it,
it, that's the difference.
They're like,
it's
hey,
not just squatting.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
are the
okay.
fucking abbreviations for our business. It's
Yeah,
not
that's-
your main trademark. It's not like we registered SaturdayNightLive.com and try to say we're
Right.
Saturday Night Live, the bowling lane.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, like that's two major companies going head to head.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
this dude against Nintendo.
Got it.
I wonder if he just had to hand it over to him, or if they pay have to pay something for it.
I think it is just straight up a handover.
Man,
like
that's-
maybe
oof.
they cover like
That's rough.
maybe they cover the registration costs or something
Yeah.
like that. But I think they just go like, word, this is ours.
I guess he says
Eminent
he
domain.
Sure. I mean, he bought it in 2004. Like, who the hell knew what Picross was in 2004? But
I did.
Hmm.
And that dude.
yes, apparently. All right, bombcast@giantbomb.com. That's it for emails. It was a long podcast. A lot has been going on in the world of games.
Yeah, that's good.
I guess stuff's still going on this week. What do we got happening? That's a bad question to ask right now.
Yeah, it is.
You guys are just deer in headlights here.
These are the things we usually figure out immediately following the podcast.
Yes.
But no, we'll do some Pac-Man Championship Edition 2
Yes.
stuff. We will look at ReCore.
You got the Dead Rising thing is out.
Yeah.
The new BioShock collection is also out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll take a look at those.
Maybe,
More seaweed
Maybe
in
we'll
that.
do videos with those. Maybe not. We'll take a look
Yeah.
and see if it's worth it.
We got some ideas.
Yeah. Some other stuff
Some
cooking.
things, some things in the hopper.
I got to put a VR headset on and get back into that stuff.
Yep.
And build a list here.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Sale still going on. As I
Sale,
said.
the premium membership sale still going on.
For another week.
Yeah, it is entered its final week.
All right.
Act now. Supplies are limited.
Yes, indeed. Time is limited for sure.
Oh, yeah, that too.
All right.
Limited
Well,
supply.
I guess we're all going to do our best to not get sick for the rest of the week. Thank you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking
It's
smug.
viral.
It's looking smug over. Yes, you're right. It's
You're
not,
fine.
It's not
Yeah.
catching, I'm sure. All right. Well, hopefully we all make it till next week. I won't be here, but you guys will. At which time we'll commence another edition of the Giant Bombcast.